Oh, folks, give me a sec. Setting something up last second. Oops. Okay, let's get this show out of the way. I definitely prepped and experimented and made sure everything worked ahead of time, and I'm definitely not just winging this. There we go. Look at that. What is up, one and all? Hope you had a good weekend. Hope you didn't miss me too much. It's been a bit of a crazy, hectic week, and we're still playing catch up, and for some reason, I am so red today that I don't even know what's happened with the colorway. Okay, that's interesting. So this morning, like basically, when I got on it originally, I had to like dial down the brightness level on the camera to an immense degree, and then it just recalibrated itself, and it's fine. Whatevs. Anyway, welcome back. Hope you had a good few days without me, and you may be noticing a new setup here. You guys see this? We're actually doing. Oh god, I'm gonna have to like maybe rethink the camera location. We got a 2 PC setup now. So we got the main PC running on the side here, as well as the laptop. Laptop from PC Specialist is going to be powering everything about the broadcast. So yeah, we basically have the PC Specialist laptop running whole kit and caboodle. Only annoying thing is going to be removing the music from the VODs. I still need to figure that out. That's going to be a big challenge now with a 2 PC setup, now that I think about it. Because I can run the music on the streaming laptop for those moments, but then like it wouldn't include you. And yeah, I'm gonna annoy myself with my position there. I've got to really think about where I actually stand, or rather sit. But yeah, so basically like this whole setup, we've got the primary PC that's going to be running the games, and then I'm gonna let the laptop handle full production. So we've actually like maximized encoding settings. If I'm not mistaken, I actually went up to P7, which on an encoding level is like literally the highest degree of quality you can get. So the things we should be pumping out here, yeah, they are going to be absolute beauties. We also have got the double stream deck out, so this is going to be the primary PC because I could be asked to switch all my scenes over. In an ideal world, I only needed one stream deck here, but I left all of my scenes on the primary instead of just shifting it all to the secondary because I was trying to do something funky. In the next week, I'll probably shift that over because I'm working on something to get vertical streams done as well, which is going to integrate it all into one. So I have, for the time being, got 2 stream decks out here. This is all being made possible, by the way, by Elgato's 4K X. So this allows you to actually stream. I'm able to push a 4K visual across to the secondary PC component here, the laptop. We're only using about 1440p, but like if we want to go bigger and better, we would have the option here. So pretty cool there. And then the other interesting thing is there might be a way for me to pull multiple feeds across via a 4K capture resolution because we're not using 4K. So that's something I'm going to be looking into. But yeah, hello, one and all. Hope you had some good days. We've got a fun one, actually. I noticed that there was a pretty epic series that happened on the weekend. We had the VortiX versus Puppypaw series, which looked freaking like one just destined to be incredible. Like those two always deliver when they face off against each other. I haven't looked into the deets of it. I didn't want to spoil it for myself, so I do not know the outcome, etc. That would be lame, right? So we're going to be checking in on that, kind of like a recap because like not everyone caught it. I think it was very late in the evening as well. Thought it'd be cool to go back and check that one out. And then we've got pub games. We've got a few different names lined up here. So like we've got Louis MT Games. We've got Kiliadi Games, Dimun Numidan. I think Ezra's in there as well that we might have a look at. So plenty to cast. Yeah, and anxiety, my CPU cooler display isn't shown. What, on the east side? That's because we got a little bit of zoom in here. I mean, I could zoom it back out, but why? You know? For now, we're talking about this beast we've got over here. This thing is really cool. I didn't really get, like, when I was in London, I was so busy running around, I didn't get as much time to work as I want to or needed to. But like when I did need to, the laptop actually came in pretty clutch. All right, I just had to update AoE4. We're going to hop on now. So what we'll be doing to open up with then is going to be... Oh, I never set the scene up, did I? I knew I forgot to do something. Oops. But yeah, we're going to be opening up with... Did I not add the names either? Jeez, I'm slacking today. We're going to be opening up with VortiX versus Puppypaw in a BO5. And what I'll do is I'm actually going to set this up like so. Now you guys can't see how I'm shenanigans in the background. Because I've obviously got like technically 3 screens now. I can kind of change the approach compared to what I've been using before. I just realized I am definitely going to want to basically move. So like, I'm going to want to move this monitor. And hold on a second. What's happened to the second camera? Second camera is kind of having a heart attack here, and I'm not sure why. Sorry, guys. Give me 1 second. What on earth has happened there? We'll try it in a new port. That's a bit funky. That happened earlier as well, and I'm not sure why. Is there a setting I've got set wrong on it, maybe? Oh, because I used to have this with like an older webcam. There was some of OBS. There was a setting I'm forgetting, which kind of screws with things a little. I need to figure out which setting it is. 1 second, let me hear me. I also want to. The 60 frames should be fine. And 1920 by 1080. Buffering, maybe? I'll keep an eye on that. That's weird. I don't know why it's done that. But I remember I used to have this with like an older webcam. Only the Elgato one. So I think it's something to do with OBS where it gets a little bit weird. But I'll keep an eye on it, and if it happens again, we'll figure it out. But for now, it works fine. Like, it should be fine in general. The frame rate's good as well, I think. So like if we go like that. Yep. Hasn't crapped itself that time. Okay. Yeah. Weird. I'm now super paranoid about that. I don't know why it's done that. Anyway, it's funny as well because it wasn't a problem before at all. What is up, YouTube as well as Twitch? So let me get the games ready. We're going to be hopping in for G number 1. Also, this is the problem when you move a camera. The moment you move a camera, right, you're like, okay, now I just got to keep moving the camera again and again and again and again and again. Bloody pain in the ass is what it is. But anyway. Is everything smooth, by the way? I just want to double check that from your guys' side. I probably should have done a dummy test stream, but I didn't. I whatevered it. So anyway. Let me see if I can find where we are. VortiX versus Puppypaw. VortiX versus Puppypaw. So quite interesting actually, like to get here, what was it? It was VortiX versus Baltoon, I believe, the round before. Oh my god, that's going to get annoying as well, I just realized. Oh, how do you turn that off? The preview window thing. Windows, preview, hover. I need... So... Let me have a look. It's the peak setting, isn't it? Okay, so I think it's down here. Nope, that was exactly what I didn't want to do. There's a button. So basically, like, you know when you're on Windows and you hover over, like that. Like when you have someone in your lower bar and you hover over. Actually, I guess there's an... Like, I basically got that. So just give me a sec while I figure that one out. I think it'd be under taskbar. Yeah, taskbar settings, and then... And here, this is what I'm doing. Yeah, I'll include you guys in the moment. Actually, no, I won't. I'm just doxing myself. Okay, I can't because it's literally like janking everything everywhere. So where is that? So it's need to go taskbar. Yeah, I seem like an old lady trying to figure out how their phone works right now. Bear with me, guys. I mean, the option that it's indicating doesn't exist where it says it does, which is always helpful. What the hell? So it'll be Peak. I'm looking for someone called Peak. I'm at a loss right now. All right, you know what? Let's just go to visual effects. No, we should be able to find it there. Dude, like, there's so many things I just to this day hate about Windows 11. What? Like, they just made everything so unnecessarily convoluted. Windows 11, disable Peak taskbar. I'm gonna mold. I'm gonna mold hard. Okay, so like, so I have to use group policies. So I'm getting told that I need to go run gpedit.msc. Like, bro, why make it so difficult? And then I need to go to user config, administrative templates, start menu and taskbar, and then turn off taskbar thumbnails. And that should fix it. Enabled. Okay. Nope, still does it. Good job. This is going to be annoying today, isn't it? Yo, what's up, Baldy? How's it going, bud? Like, I am genuinely lost. It should not be this hard to disable something so stupid. You know? Let's have a look. Taskbar. And then... show my taskbar on all displays, that's fine. Show badges. Yeah. I'm confused. What are you trying to do? I'm trying to get rid of that stupid behavior where... have I got display cap? Yeah, I have. I'm trying to get rid of this. So, you know when you... if we even can capture the right monitor, that'd be great. So, you know when you do this, and then you do that? So when you go and hover, and then you hover on the preview, because we're using a capture card setup, it's basically, it's causing the preview of the gaming PC view to disappear. So you're seeing desktop, which you should be seeing. So like, I need to figure out how to stop it doing that. And I cannot find it. I remember I done it on Windows 10, but like obviously nowadays we're on Windows 11. And presumably, as is typically stupid Microsoft behavior, they just shifted it somewhere else. It's like... notification settings? It wouldn't be notification settings at all. Capturing a specific window is because... So the way this setup works is what you're seeing here, guys, is like, it's a lie. So, like, what we've got happening is like, when it comes to OBS on the primary PC... is what you do is you create a full screen projector, which gets captured in the Elgato capture card's display, right? Because it's technically a 4K display. It's like what you guys are seeing is a preview of what OBS is capturing. So the problem with that is that the thing is full screen for you guys by default, but the moment that you go ahead and you switch it and you have that like taskbar click hover over, it's gonna do this every time, which is gonna happen a lot because I'm an alt tabber and I'm hoverer and whatever else. It's like what we're trying to do right now is figure out how to disable that, because I didn't think there's gonna be a problem, because it's like it's one of those things that you just don't even think about at the moment. I think it's called peak. So it'll be thumbnail preview, minimizing everything, I guess, like, is the best way I can think to describe it. Because it should be under taskbar settings, right? But it's like, it's just not there, or it's hidden somewhere convoluted, right? Because like we're in here. Is it the widgets crap? Nope. Task view? Nope. Show my taskbar on all displays is fine. Share any window from my taskbar. I'm so lost right now. Alright, this is just going to be a very annoying day, and I'm going to have to figure it. Like, we need to get on with it. I'm going to have to figure this out later. That's incredibly tilting. It should not be difficult to figure out that, but Windows 11 in its infinite glory has once again ordained to be a bellend. Anyway, let's hop in for our first series day. So we've got VortiX versus Puppypaw. We're going to have Roos versus Malians opening up on Gorge. I just can't be like at this point I can't be asked to waste more time trying to figure it out right now. We just have to like rely solely on alt tabbing and not like Windows key hover, which is going to be annoying. But let's go ahead and get ready for the first game of the day. Oh, please tell me the minimap hasn't done it. It has, hasn't it? Oh, wait. No, the minimap is fine. Glory. Blessings. All right. Here we go. Do we start like this? Of course we do. It's time for a matchup that always delivers. These two, it's pure fireworks when they meet on the main stage. On the main stage, they have most definitely met on. Folks, it is time for Puppypaw versus VortiX in the $30,000 EGC Masters Summers Tournament. A best-of-5 quarterfinals to see who's going to make it into the top 4. And in game 1, we have got the Spaniard kicking us off with the Malians in the red, going up against Puppypaw in the blue as the Roos. Now, Gorge is an interesting map for Malians. I always feel like, you know, it's one that you maybe wouldn't expect to see as much as it actually comes out. Roos, on the other hand, has remained a staple pick through and through. Like, I can't think of a time really where Roos has felt bad here. I mean, there's not really a time where Roos would have felt bad anywhere, it feels like. But curious to see how they want to try and play this. Like, with Roos, usually in this matchup, there's not much that can stop them just pro-scouting into fast castling. Malians have really good answers to the default plays from Roos, though. Remember, this is a civ that has got javelins, which counter out the horse archers. Plays into knights can be discounted by Donzo javelin scaling in the feudal age anyway. So, with that in mind, I mean, is there a one in which Puppypaw plays more aggressive? Maybe for the feudal timing. If it was a different Roos player, maybe I'd be inclined to say there's a way, but we have to remember the guy we're watching is a little bit of a more defensive party, at least in this matchup. I think the way I've heard people describe this is like attacker versus defender. Although Puppypaw has definitely been ramping up his aggression in more recent times. Interesting one this could be, actually. With this type of spawn as well, double tier on the east side is very beneficial to Puppypaw, just getting a quick snatch and grab. Now, remember, Roos, in some ways, was more heavily impacted by the nerfs that came with deer shoving. Deer shoving being nerfed really hurt Roost's initial timing and getting the deer close to base, right? With the pushback from the scouts. So curious to see if that actually does impact him in a negative way. Or if the timings just kind of remain the same. And by the way, like looking at the path these guys took to get here, it was quite interesting actually, because I think they both, if I'm not mistaken, had 3-0s over their previous opponent. Yeah, so VortiX was able to get a 3-0 win over Baltin. And then we have to remember for Puppypaw, it wasn't a 3-0, but he came through a lot early, right? He was able to 3-2 Beasties. So looking at this series, looking at the matchups the Jones have taken, it would be fair to say that Puppypaw should be favored. And I'd say, like, looking draft-wise, I think he done pretty well for himself. I'm not going to say it was an overwhelming win, necessarily. I think both of them got a piece of it. So should have a tight series all in all. Mance is going to be coming in as expected. Guys, I'm going to say something that might be controversial. Does Kremlin need a buff? I mean, the sigh of the villager says it all, right? I think for some people it's a case of no KP, God no, we don't need it to be buffed because, like, Bruce is just too good in general still. But, it's a little bit unfortunate when we just get these very long stints of linear play, landmark-wise, right? And I think Roos has probably had one of the longest now. With Golden Gate into High Trade House practically every single game. Let's give more vision for the Kremlin. I mean, I don't think it would, change too much. Roos already has so much vision due to the scouts, and I love the way Puppypaw's leveraging this. Yeah, so spams out the scout, starts poking at the house. And the cool thing about this now is, Golden Gate goes up, then you still haven't got pro scouts yet. Sure, you're not going to get your first deer home fast, but what you can then do is you can just basically pick up the enemy deer and drag them back to base. Instead of losing health, militia gain health over time. All right, I'm just reminded why Voldemar is not allowed to be part of the design team. That is not cool enough. What should happen is the longer they exist, the more powerful they get. Yeah? Their health still goes down, but their damage goes up. Right? So that basically, when your opponent thinks they've won, you just run in onto their TC, all chat typing one punch, and blow up the entire base. Donzo reaction forced out of VortiX. Okay, this is pretty good for Puppypaw and the timing, though, right? So the idea from VortiX now, by going into the Donzos, he guarantees his opponent cannot snatch the deer from his side of the map, which is really good. But now you've kind of, got a rush to get into position here, and I think you may have been scouted or definitely about to be seen, which will give him the reaction to archers. Yeah, and a lot of people in this, understandably so. It's crucial he gets those deer in on time. How about... Wait. Less HP militia has higher attack speed they have. Okay. So we're basically just trying to go full... I feel like Troll Warlord at that stage. Yeah, Huskar would be the more appropriate one. Yeah, my brain for a sec there. Troll if we don't let them die for a certain amount of time. Trying to think that would actually be cool to have an Age of Empires 4, a unit that attacks quicker the more it attacks the same target. It would definitely be a more micro-expressive element of Age of Empires 4, but maybe a little bit too out of place. So first Theostat coming back already. I imagine for Puppypaw, he just wants to keep it as lean as possible, 5, maybe 6 archers maximum, and then get away with the age up if he can. The awkward thing now is, you start to prep into archers, and your opponent could just be adjusting into javelins, which would make a lot of sense. It's a comp that scales really well into the aforementioned horse archers. But instead, VortiX is going to be leaning straight into the ranches, which I quite like here. Yeah, so just looking to escalate towards his castle timing quicker. Mass sofas can be a good answer to a lot of the things that come out from Roost in the castle age. Choose between a bunch of militia and combine them into one beefy Titan militia. I feel like that would be appropriate if Microsoft ever buys Gundam. Maybe, just Power Rangers would do, actually. We need some sort of reason why we're doing it. How do you guys feel about the ideas of, IP takeovers, by the way? Of, different IPs just basically appearing in the game. Maybe some Game of Thrones. Actually, no, we can't do that. We've got a Game of Thrones RTS now we have to worry about. Man, I was actually so funnily enough, I was casting some Mechabellum when this was going on. And I'm just sitting here thinking about like how early game wise, we really do have a slow pacing in AoE 4. It's very calming. You always want to do like a full podcast for the first 5 or 10 minutes. In fact, we often do. Knight's now coming in from Puppypaw. So he is committing more to this age, but not the entire hand, right? He's not ham-fisting it down the enemy's throat. It's just enough to keep him contained. So I think for Puppypaw, he's looking to get a bit greedy here, looking for probably the third deer stack on the north side, while the rest of the army distracts on the south. Archers will be able to scare the Donzos away. That also idles out the gold, which is going to have an inherent effect on VortiX's timings here. Yeah, 3 ranches in, forthcoming, but now with a raw lack of gold access reliably. Yeah, overall, like, things are lining up quite nicely for Puppypaw. Like, yeah, your opponent's going to jabs now, but you've already got access to Knight play, potentially, and if you just rush into the Warrior Monks, you can just focus on that as your key objective, which should give you enough to compete somewhat with the timing on Filani here, while scaling an army that's going to keep better value, right? Because, like, the thing as well with VortiX doing Javelins now, without it being a Farimba, the Javelin is not being there, just being standard Javelins, you lose some value, some credibility in that comp. It does at least keep your opponent off of horse archers, yes, but you know, if you ask most players, do you want to be scaling archers or javelins in the Castle Age? Most are going to tell you they want to be scaling the crap out of those archers. Hi, Trade House, get your numbers in. Oh, that's interesting as well. Puppypaw, so we've seen a few players have started to do this back hunting cabin and then this one around here to keep the room in the center, but Puppypaw doesn't seem to be a fan of that. No, he just crams it on the east side. Already flooding to the west now. Keeps the knight around in the east, which is smart. That's going to actually force VortiX to stay at home, which means no intercept on the pro scout seeming likely. And again, he did get a bit ambitious with that dive. Goes a bit too close, and it cost him dearly. So who am I liking the look of more as we progress into like 10-15 minute arc? I think for VortiX, the challenge here is actually getting enough troops to like tech while also potentially blocking relics. It is a good spawn if you're fast enough, by the way. Like, it's 4 relics north side, which is really frustrating actually as a more turtly player. And I can't believe I'm calling VortiX a turtly player in the first place. Oi, no, you get those jokes out of here. That's... It hasn't been 40 minutes and we're already on the dad jokes like that. It's true. A lack of pro scouts is definitely costing him dearly. Yeah, I mean, right now, Puppypaw, it looks like the stag on the stag do. He's getting all the kit and caboodle, right? It's going to be 3 stacks of deer. 4th is a little bit difficult to reach, but with the way that VortiX now needs to lean west to guard the relics, you could sneak in and get these sides as well. Yeah, is it me or is Puppypaw just kind of getting anything and everything he wants? I mean, there is a threat point coming, right? VortiX is scaling a lot of troopers, and he is prepping for the tech up now with, well, basically the full ranch, right? He's only missing 2 cows bodied in, but might choose to just keep eating them instead. Meanwhile, for Puppypaw, we have got a pivot now into horsemen. Veterancy is going to be coming through as well. I wonder... I mean, this is quite smart, actually, from Puppypaw when you think about it. He's got so much food to work with, guaranteeing 3 deer stacks and maybe eventually a 4th. It's not like your opponent's going to rush out either. Like, there's this kind of, like, counterbalance logic of, you know, yes, as Malians, you don't need the deer. You've got the cow, and that feels good. But because you're not taking the deer away, ever, really, you shouldn't be. It means that Puppypaw has theoretically even more lifeline to work with in this game before needing to farm transition, right? Because even if he doesn't get the deer straight away, it's on the agenda. It's there that it can always be snuck down the line. Grand Fulani is indeed going to be the full one. Yeah, he even slaps in the final ranch. I wonder, is it going to be an immediate Sofa transition? Because if VortiX sniffs this out, Sofa solves all of his problems. And I'm not even exaggerating when I say all of them. You know, you look at the comp he's up against here. There's absolutely no threat for Sofa whatsoever. And I think this is also why people are starting to gravitate back towards the Fulani instead of just Furimbering every game. Like, we talked about Furimba, and it could have, in theory, been decent here with the Javelineers, even after the nerfs, but it really does lock you into a specific style of gameplay from what I would have called a disadvantageous position with the way this was opened up. Yeah, I mean, the Pro Scouts detail alone is enough to make you cry. Notice what Puppypaw is doing. He's playing wide flanks against a Civ that is hunkered down. VortiX went Donzo Javelins. This gives him a lack of potential to just play wide. You just don't have the mobility to do so. You could argue, yeah, neither does Puppypaw's got archers, but the difference is as an attacker, you get to choose which side you attack on. Your opponent won't necessarily be able to anticipate that, especially since he lost his scout so early. We already do have poking on the houses coming through. Army is going to react north side, which is, I mean, ambitious here. They are their archers after all. So that's a poke at the Donzos. Looks like he's going to get scared back, but this does feel like a bit of a bait. Puppypaw waiting for the second wave. The scout sees all. VortiX is still blind. He doesn't overextend, so well played. Game sensors were tingling there. However, where's the positive of the way this has played out so far for VortiX? Because I see a guy who's now going to be down completely on relics. It's going to be 4 relic gaming, potentially 5 still at this rate. High Trade House is also providing 127 gold. And with the phenomenal gathering rate you get on Deer with the survival techniques, you're really not as far behind the Fulani economy as you'd think. But you know what? I was behind this guy on the directory. Now he's gone for the day. A resting time for Sort of. But just in time to actually catch a recap. Thank you, Sort of. Appreciate the rate. We're checking in on some of the tournament games from the weekend. For those that weren't able to catch them. I definitely wasn't able to. We're busy with some Mecha Bellum. And then later on, we're going to be checking out some pub games. But for now, I mean, we've got an interesting one, right? With Puppypaw just looking to go full body and ham-fist at 2 VortiX. It's weird to say that out loud just because usually the shoes is on the other foot, right? Like, usually it's actually VortiX who is the aggressor of these two. Then again, I do remember the last time they matched up. Puppypaw did try to square off, and then towards the end of last year, we saw Puppypaw just kind of keeping VortiX fully on the defense. I recall in particular, I think it was an Autumn versus Chinese game on Lipany, which delivered some ridiculous results off of some outburst Barbican rushes. But Clash coming in now. Horsemen, they're just going to float on top here. Donzo count. And there's 12 in the engagement, but the Horsemen do get the full envelopment. Javs at risk getting culled. Horsemen are going to have to pull away. A second wave of Spearmen do come through. And looks like the Archers actually didn't get the best of trade-outs here. The Horseman count wasn't good enough. And honestly, I'm kind of shocked. That many Horsemen surging in on Javelins just stuck standing still. You'd expect a lot more casualties there, but VortiX able to remain competitive here. They're neck and neck on military, essentially. And remember, for VortiX, he's got the infinitesimal nature of his food source, right? He's already got the ranches set up. For Puppypaw, the deer is good. We said it's powerful, but it's not eternal. Except these ones. These ones are kind of eternal. Horseman. Could think about raiding here. Puppypaw's doing something else, though. We've got to pivot into Men-at-Arms. The Men-at-Arms choice is a little bit surprising here because I think like you should be maybe suspicious of a Sofa transition next. And Sofas are actually a good answer to Men-at-Arms. They mitigate most of the damage that MAA do. They also get bonus damage against infantry. It's only a +2, but it's a +2 on a unit that already strikes for almost 20 damage. 20 to be exact. So, sorry, +3 isn't it? It's +2 in feudal. So at this stage, you know, this is very sustainable at 120 food, 60 gold a pop for a civ like the Malians. And the difference is that Men-at-Arms is going to anchor Puppypaw even more so. Whereas, you know, earlier on we said VortiX was the one that could move. With the Sofas now added in, VortiX is going to be the one who gets the potential to raid, while also still having the capability to fight. Yeah, and I mean, this is the stage where, like, for Puppypaw, Spearman could make a lot of sense. Instead, he chooses the crossbowman. So I think his worry about going spearman is he's expecting VortiX to eventually shift off of javelins into archers. So if you pivot spearman now, which actually, funnily enough, is going to do as well, you do potentially set yourself up to be countered. But the crossbows against 32 javelins is definitely curious. So far, are just going to front in here. Already got the imported armors. The archers just doing no damage whatsoever. Chases on, and all of a sudden, momentum is starting to swing a little here. We have got the resetter on the way. Boys 42 will give the bulk to push. The horsemen are waiting on those flanks for an opportunity. VortiX just ignoring Sacred Sights right now. He's looking for the double barrel shot down the center. He's got the Donzos marching across to try and mirror the move. The horsemen are going to arrive so much quicker to this engagement, so VortiX needs as much damage as possible right now. Javs go for the trade out with the back line. Crossbows are going to be a pristine target to protect the incoming Sofa. Horsemen are now arriving, though, and the Javelins realize the overextension. VortiX tries to bail them out. But we are not the US government, and this is not 2008. It's not going to be that simple. The Horseman rotation works out. He connects on the back, pushing this away. The Javelins will eventually reach the safety of the Donzos. And Puppypaw was able to kind of equalize the trades that were going against him earlier on there. He's going to recommit to the clash now with the men at arms to front line against those spearmen. Horsemen are leaking around onto the flanks, connecting with the Javs. But these two are truly neck and neck right now. 30 to 33 military. Puppypaw is running out of horsemen fast, though. He's down to just 8 remaining. Sofa count has also shrunk down to a mere few. And something tells me this game has still got quite some length in it, as both players are just going to have to reset. VortiX will at least keep some momentum going. In fact, what the hell just happened here? They were neck and neck, and then all of a sudden, VortiX had double the military. Ah, so Puppypaw, he decided to pivot. He's switching into Knight comp, which is, I want to say, quite a curious choice here. Knights can work out very well, but the one risk he has is how slow they produce. I believe he did at least get Military Academy, I want to say? No Military Academy. Okay. So these are going to take a very long time to produce. That does have me worried. Sofas, in the meantime, are going to catch Puppypaw as he makes his way out onto the berries. So good idle time being achieved. Might even find himself a few worker kills, because funnily enough, Puppypaw didn't pull away. No, so Sofas are just target firing down one by one, making it totally worth the trade. Oh, the micro on point here, VortiX. I mean, he clears half of the berry workers, and this has, like, knock-on effects, right? It's not just workers lost, it's now this expected food income that's now going to be half of what you were anticipating here. So, ridiculous strike there. Puppypaw, now even further behind when you consider the Fulani detail. He's at least doing well on gold, and I think that's another reason why we saw him pivot from Horsemen to Knights, is Knights, you know, if you've got surplus gold, makes a lot of sense. The Horseman is just going to drain your food faster. Food that, remember, is limited until this farm transition completes. Currently only 9 deep. VortiX, I think in his mind, after a strike like that, primary goal is just take the hit, defend, and then counterattack. So you'll see him just back entirely up. Means he's going to have the full weight of his army, right? Full production coming through, while Puppypaw, you know, kind of deceptive, doesn't have the full 69 on the front line. Does bait the engagement. Spears, men at arms march in. Javelins just to trade out. They're keeping the crossbows at range. Sofas are a little bit missing here, though. It looks like VortiX, he went in again. For the second time, and there's only double spear here. Okay, pretty disastrous from Puppypaw. Yeah, just left himself fully exposed. Never even set up a wooden fortress. Has got more spearmen rallying now. The damage being done, and it forces the dive. Puppypaw has to go in. VortiX just able to peel this one back, though. Javelins Donzos has superior movement speed. The crossbows from Puppypaw slows the formation. Starting to reach towards the Fulani. Puppypaw's numbers are growing. Can he stick here for long, though? It feels like it's going to be good enough, actually, with the Javelins now overextended, committing into the crossbows. It means the melee is able to just melt them. And folks, after that melee is done chomping down these, you know, there's some tankiness to it. We've got some knights in there. We've got some men-at-arms. But Puppypaw has just gone full discount blob. It's going to be 35 spearmen. That's kind of wild. I guess for Puppypaw, the thought process here is like, yo, you know, you've got javelins, you've got sofas. You have no answer to this unit. And we are now seeing a pretty crafty switch. VortiX trying to go to Musafadi. It's going to take some time for sure, but if he finds that space, if he finds that timing, Musafadi is a very efficient answer into spearmen, considering the discount cost. Looks like there's going to be a leak over his Puppypaw. He is going to discover the gold workers. It's only spears, so VortiX should get away with this. This game is getting so scrappy. Retinue of Knights is going to find their way under the flanks. They will see the gold workers in chase. Not able to find yet. Then, again, missing the gold workers is going to be beneficial because instead of finding a small group, he finds the fat stack of 22. Well, no immediate reaction. Is going to turn around now to snipe down one or two of them. You're seeing the awkwardness of like the cavalry and what they provide here. Just a small group. It happened with the Sofa raid on the north side. It's happening now with the Knights on the south. The goal right now is to try and find safe economy, but because Gorge forces you to go wide, it makes it very hard to defend unless you want to commit to walls. And so far, neither player has been willing to do so. So what is VortiX's win condition in his mind? Because like right now, Puppypaw is ticking all the boxes. Spearman, Crossbowman pretty much does everything you need. Even being able to afford Knights now. I think for VortiX, like maybe, dare I say, Springles? Would give you quick wave clear rather on the Spearman. And you are playing defensive anyway, but I guess the tricky part now is the pit mines. Like you are playing defensive, but you can't really afford to play defensive. Crazy recommit. Like, you know, the fact that Puppypaw was able to take the military lead again like this is pretty damn impressive. You know, when a lot of people encounter the Malian Flood and you equalize a trade like that, you're meant to feel good about just using your quality units again, but he understood it would be too slow paced. Like, I don't feel like many players would have just looked at this and said, yeah, 40 spears is what I need. And I think that's what happens when you don't switch archers. And, you know, VortiX, he tried to creep out in the woods, but, like, Puppypaw raided just at the right time to restrict that transition, that switch over into archers. We never saw it. Now VortiX has to buff this away again. If he could just find a reliable tree line, archers would be the golden solution to everything Puppypaw's doing. But with the size of Puppypaw's army, it feels like you need two reliable tree lines that are going to go unfettered and untouched. Might be asking too much of the Spaniard here. Puppypaw keeps on with the press. Sofas are going to leak in and just get immediately sniped down by the crossbowmen. Does need to be respectful of the javelin and their range to just push crossbows away. And remember, we are essentially fighting in the middle of the Malian economy, but because of the melee brawl, there's no time to burn down those ranches and actually take away eco. But what we're seeing is an eco lead now building. Puppypaw, he's 7 ahead. A lot of worker kill occurring in the meantime. More than mathematically makes sense, actually. I think we've had idle TC, if I'm not mistaken. And man, it is leaking into a lot of the workers. Yeah, on the east side, the Knights, they find the gold workers again. And worker lead being maintained for now. More troopers are on the way, but Puppypaw, all of a sudden from, what, 80 to 60 military, now to 40-40. He's going to have to retreat, but keep in mind that Puppypaw has been making this type of push happen while transitioning farms. I'm actually impressed that he was able to keep up that type of pressure while transitioning now up to 30 farms. If you get just like maybe another 10 in, I think you're in a pretty stable and reliable position here as Roos, especially with all this passive gold alongside it. Yeah, and we do even have the walls coming up to guarantee that. On the other side, VortiX is yet to commit to a single tile of wall in this game. Anyone else getting the feeling that he will commit to a grand sum of 0 tiles of wall for the entire game? trying to think who benefits more from this slowdown. Like, it feels as if it's Puppypaw. You know, VortiX still has some, like, trash elements to the comp. I don't know if you still want to be Javelins after all this time. Army is going to get poked on the east side, but we've already got a little raid on the west to shut down the pit mines as well. Remember, for Puppypaw, it's just more about how do I keep him in check. Just don't let him mass surge into 200 pop, but not really overcommitting, right? Because like with this eco lead now, more farms coming in, you should begin to become more and more favored. Spearman. A bit outnumbered here though, so Puppypaw, we have an overextension. But so far, it's just been kind of keeping the trades even on the retreat. In some cases, you could argue doing slightly better, and wow. Okay, we finally have it. It took a while, folks, but just short of 30 minutes, VortiX has found the wood necessary for an archer transition. It begins now. The question is it going to be quick enough? And is he going to like what he finds here? Because I'm seeing Puppypaw remassing into Horseman, seemingly anticipating the switch. Yeah, and I mean, the difference before is like the Javelins, their range, their tankiness kind of keeps them further away from the dangerous locations of the fights, I want to say. But archers have to get up close and personal, right? And the previous fight when we saw Horsemen versus Javelins, the Javelins done pretty well. But the Horsemen didn't have Boy's Fortitude for a start. And also, the Javs didn't really have to worry about the secondary element, the crossbowmen, like sniping them down, right? But archers don't have all that ranged armor to shrug off that damage. Puppypaw now close to 40, about to go 45 farms. Yeah, so we're full late game, and I wouldn't be surprised if he starts to contemplate a tech up in the next minute, 2 minutes. You can definitely flirt with the idea, and he's even been smart with foresight to go into the castle drop. Gathering the stone, just small little clipping away from what you need to keep dropping. I wouldn't be surprised if that's going to be targeted across the 8k to secure the late game. And this is indeed the EGC Master Summers recap. Army lobs reaching the highest count so far in this game. And the archers have now been revealed, so Puppypaw saw it. Let's see what it will show. VortiX goes in for the clash. Puppypaw starts to stand his ground. Horseman rotating around the back. That's going to drag the attention of the Donzo wave. Keeps him out of the engagement. Actually, this is important. About double the troops, right, are running around off this group of horsemen, just not participating right now. Puppypaw kind of struggling now as a result to keep a front line together. The horsemen are going to find a rotation to the far south side. Archers and Javelins now out of position. The Donzos of the Riposte is going to run them straight past the crossbowmen, but VortiX doesn't care. He doubles down. He's got the break on here. Puppypaw down to just 15 crossbowmen. And somehow, this turns from an even fight into nothing left. That's crazy. Puppypaw, from this type of position, I would have expected a little bit of a better trade out from him, but it seems the crossbowman just got targeted down a bit too well by VortiX. The Javelin's just on the case all the time. And now the push underway. I mean, VortiX, he played his heart on that fight. It was just on point. From the rotation around the back on the north side, I thought Puppypaw had actually just baited too much of the army, but then VortiX recommits it into the backline of crossbowmen, having spears, sofas, etc. striking there. In the meantime, all the way through that, we just saw target fire onto this expo line to get rid of the critical mass that was keeping Puppypaw alive. And now it feels like we're staring at a Canadian at death's door. Yeah, a 3-1 military advantage now for VortiX. And it's only going to get worse from here. Men-at-Arms transition on the way from Puppypaw makes sense considering you're against Archer mass, but trickling these into poison arrows is going to lead to death every time. And we've got a second wave of Sofa on the way. What a game one. Kind of crazy. Like, and it shows you, you know, micro really does matter. Even in macro games where we talk about like the economical strategies of Age of Empires 4, I think really what broke this one in the end is just VortiX just a little bit cleaner, a little bit more crisp in that central engagement over the Sacred Site. Someone we've come to expect out of the Spanish micro master. Archers are just going to reset for the moment. He's started to realize he's just diving into new spawn horsemen and men-at-arms, which is favoring them. Best thing you can do is wait for the sofa wave and then just double down on the dive. Military Academy also on the way, so Puppypaw just desperately trying to stabilize here. He's still got the food income, so it's not like he's suddenly starved out. And the eco lead is still pretty nice here at this stage, actually. Yeah, like, not everything has been solved, but I think VortiX, like, with this type of military lead, is just one step away from the dominant position necessary. If he can just find his way onto these back farms, the world's his oyster. We do have more stables coming in. And Stone is being rushed down now, so Puppypaw, fully aware, is going to be prepping a castle drop. And what on earth was that? Alt-tab is being weird today. Frame drop? And he's rushing for the castle as well. Keep in mind, putting this many people on a stone does affect your ability to get the next wave of troops out. It's a bit of a gamble. Gamble he apparently needs. My question is, you know, with this many farms, this spread, where's the castle meant to go? And do you even have enough time? Because VortiX is already at the doors of Rome. And he's not going to ask nicely. No, breaks down the wall. Surfer count, good enough. With the assistance of Donzo to keep pushing this back. Archers. They are going to get A-click fired onto the men-at-arms. They're not trading out against those crossbows ideally. That's mainly just the javelins. The double-up military lead now has been fully established and reliably controlled. VortiX has achieved that golden objective. Last time, the farms were fine. There was no pressure. This time, it forces a desperation castle out of Puppypaw. 35 villagers to rush that one up. The issue of which is, what does it really protect? I mean, like 2 farm clusters, maybe 2.5. The rest, though, are going to be completely forfeit. And this is the awkward thing, right? We mentioned, like, where's he going to place it? The only option would have been right in the face of VortiX, which would have been impossible. And even with the castle up, VortiX does not give a damn. Dives underneath the thing. Looking to end the game. Yeah, Sofa's just chasing all these villagers away. And now we're going to see that food income half, right? It was up at, like, what, 2.4k? Now going down to 1,200. And Siege Engineering is going to be the play. So VortiX... I'd expect nothing less out of the Aggro Meister himself. He's going to look to get in some rams to end this game. Looks like Horsemen have at least burnt down one of the pit mines, but... And this is the other tricky thing, right? Like, congrats, you burnt down a pit mine, but that also means that your defense force was missing, what, a third of what remains? Now, I think if a Puppypaw with what we've seen here, like the wake-up calls, the jolt to the system's just going to be, okay, my micro needs to be fully on point. It's not that he microed poorly, I just think VortiX was just a little bit quicker. A little bit more accurate of what he was looking to achieve here. Now, with 5 rams coming in, you gotta believe that castle's going down. He's trying to produce into mangoes, but I mean, the Siege Workshop technically is already reached. Dive in. If he just clears the last of the crossbowmen here, there's no real threat left for the Sofa. That one mango. Yeah, I mean, you don't even need a Sofa getting in. It's going to happen, but he could have just killed this with Javelin Archer Fire anyway. GG gets called. So game number 1. Going to be going to the Spaniard with this peak aggression. Not able to do it at the start, but that's the beautiful thing about VortiX, the inspiring thing. This guy is not just ham-fist sending it into you 24/7. Patience was key to unlock the Malian Rage. Okay, so why on earth is alt-tabbing having such a hugely overwhelming negative impact on teams? That's what I need to find out. Alt tabbing kind of went crazy there. Let me double check something. And yeah, no spoilers. Like, we're casting the game, so it's a read the room moment is how I describe it. So let me check my display settings and make sure we're all hunky-dory there. Because what we should have... Let's increase the Elgato 144 hertz. That might solve some of the problems. That's the only thing I could think is because it wasn't mirrored on frame rate, it was maybe freaking out. So hopefully that now works. Because it was being weird on alt tabs. Let's double check some as well. Alt tab, lagging PC. How often are these tourneys? The EGC one, they do a few a year. We have our weekly tournaments coming back in August. There's already an announcement video where we've talked a little bit about that. So, in a few weeks' time, we'll have like live series on the weekdays constantly. What could be causing the alt tab lag? Give me a sec. I'm going to restart my game, and then we'll get into game number 2. Dude, it doesn't help that I've like woken up very disoriented with like a really bad like headache. I'm starting to worry that like I'm getting the migraines back from when I was a kiddo. Oh my god, we still have that problem as well, don't we? To worry about. It's gonna get so annoying. So 1 second. I wanted to check. So I'm just gonna quickly restart the game. Whoop, whoop. Dude, why are my eyes so... Windows 11 update messed up some display settings. Really? I guess that's possible. Because I think we did just have the update. And I wouldn't have noticed because I was basically like, I was in London like last week, right? So what did it mess up? What have they screwed with now? And can they just stop ruining gaming, please? I'm just double checking that it hasn't turned on anything elsewhere that it shouldn't have. On like general, widely applicable graphic settings. Yeah, it's very weird. No, nothing's been flipped on. I mean, dude, like looking at my monitor, which is 144 hertz monitor, it doesn't feel like 144 hertz at all. And you know what? Yeah, okay, now it's fine. Earlier, like, yeah, now it's not. Now it's fine. Like, so I noticed that I was playing a little bit Apex Legends last night. I was like, why does everything feel so laggy? It's almost like I'm at 60 hertz, but I know I'm not. You know? It's very, very weird. Can't duplicate your... Nah, I don't duplicate. I extend. Only extends for me. I'm just double checking one or two things. Sorry about this, guys. It's just like, I'd rather sort it now and make sure we're safe than have this continue to hiccup later. I'm just gonna force the dedicated graphics card because I just noticed that, so maybe that was causing issues. Okay. With any luck, that's helped. All right, so we're gonna get ready for the next game. Let me get a point on the board for Mr. VortiX. Seriously, I don't know what the hell's happening there. My brain just feels so scrambled as well. So many things I need to do as well. That's the problem with going to London for some conferences. You come back and you've got even more freaking work than when you left. Yeah, I'm hoping, in particular, this 2PC setup will show itself on the quality of the recordings that get uploaded later. So G2. And we are going to be going to Scandinavia. Ibids versus Mongols. I mean, Ibids is usually pretty good here, but the water variable does mix things up a little bit. One and all, welcome back to the channel for a series that has already been defined by the micro in the battles. Well, we're about to extend that thought process because we are going to be splashing in ponds. We hop in for game number 2. VortiX in the red, playing as the Ibids, a micro master in his own right, up against Puppypaw on the Mongols in the yellow. Puppypaw, who suffered at the hands of Beastie's Mongols on this particular map when they matched up in the earlier rounds, now looking to take that lesson forward. But Mongol versus Ibids is a tricky one, folks. On a land map, IU is definitely a civ I kind of lean to favor here just because of the ability to buffer away the aggression and counterplay Keshiks so easily with the camels. But when you get to water, Mongols always have these annoying curveballs to throw in the early age with the Dark Age Spear Rush. Spear Rush that we're not going to be seeing. Puppypaw instead just defaults towards greed. It might work out well for him. VortiX already has that dock up. And we have to remember, this is a civ that has some interesting options, such as the advancement wing that can actually rush them in to age 2 before you can burn down the dock. Yeah, the other option you could have went for here is you actually could have went for the industry wing, which would have given you the wood to actually build into docks quite easily. But probably would have felt a little bit wonky here. And why am I... Seriously, why does it keep doing that? So alt tabbing is really killing the frame rate today. I'll have to double check that after this. In fact, give me 1 sec. Something must have changed in game. I'm convinced now. Nope. Everything should be fine. Maybe vertical sync? Yeah, I mean, borderless shouldn't be a problem. Didn't we have this problem a few weeks ago? I can't remember what our solution was. But anyway. Alright, hopefully that works a little bit better now. So, House of Wisdom's coming in. At this type of early point, I'm starting to think we're definitely looking at advancement, which would make a lot of sense just to try and deal with the impeding threat of Mongols just outscaling you. We're going to go the 2x speed just for the early game here to get through the Dark Age. We solved it by downgrading our driver. That's true. I did update my drivers recently again, but like I made sure I cleared them before, so it should have been fine. And what is up, Pope Dears? I see you with the sub, mate. Thank you very much for the prime. And welcome back to the Swarm. Yeah, it legit just hates alt tabbing. That is weird. And yo, it is the Eco Wing. Okay, so this is kind of interesting. This was a build that was actually like originally conceived and utilized by the Canadians back in the King of Rockies, if you guys remember. On Holy Island in particular, Scandinavia can solve a similar format. And we'll see if it solves it here. VortiX with the industry wing into dock aggro. He's looking for a boat rush opening here to shut down the fishing. What a crafty build. I mean, I thought he'd just take the advancement, but maybe felt like he was content in his timing, didn't really need it. I remember Eco Wing Infantry has been buffed since we saw it back in those days, right? Back then, I don't think it had the increased build speed. Now that's been added, so 30% faster build speed on top of the 350 wood. 350 wood that would be good enough to get him into Bagladao. And Puppypaw, he's going to get his own dock further forward. And notice the stone. He actually has enough here to consider the double pump of Keshik and then enable arrow slits play afterwards, which would be the blocker. Double dock from VortiX. So it really is going to turn into a hunker down and fight. But the difference is that VortiX has safety and economy, while Puppypaw now has risk associated. Naval arrow slits is on the way. Slow down for the 1x speed. An archer ship does arrive quick enough that it's already forcing idle time. And this is another awkward thing actually about Scandinavia is like the fish are central, right? So like if you have to fall back like this, you're in shoreline. You don't have a corner deep water fish that you can retreat to. Archer ship already struggling to stay alive. The double dock should be good enough though. Like VortiX has to back off very early because of that 4 docks positioning. The demo, a bit questionable. VortiX actually realizes just in time before throwing it away, so we'll keep it alive. Important tool to be leveraged there. The Keshiks on land are getting ready to strike, and VortiX, well, he doesn't seem to be any the wiser for it, so Puppypaw will be able to jump in unnoticed. He does get himself first blood when it comes to the workers. Nicely played. VortiX, of course, doesn't want to pull away. You really can't afford to have downtime here now that you're in a water off. Wood makes the world go round, and you don't have any counter-offensive, any counter-pressure. I do like this idea now coming in, though. It's going to be Desert Raider follow-up from VortiX. Yeah, and remember what we said about Desert Raiders, what makes them so good. They are the golden solution to Keshiks. Keshiks are abysmal into camels. They already have low base damage, and you can see the effect it's having, right? 15 down to just 12. Then on top of that, your opponent is going to have the 5 melee armor. You barely register damage onto them. Meanwhile, you're taking like over double the damage. Water offensive is getting a little bit hunkered down now. I think really what's going to make the difference here is the raiding on land. Now with double Desert Raider, it does feel a little bit awkward for Puppypaw to continue into Keshiks, and already loses one of the double pump. This is creating space for him to sneak onto water, though, and that's an interesting play. Great positioning as well. Puppypaw is just able to gather the deer close by. But the reason it's an interesting play is like VortiX has gone up to 7 fishing boats. In theory, could have gotten a lot more here. And that's important because he only has enough garrison slots for 6. On the other side, Puppypaw is going to start leaning into pressuring the docks. And this is one of the benefits you get when you've just got your hands on this naval arrow slits play. Just gives you a nice soft reset to push forward with. Kind of a creeping barrage along that coastline. Archer ship does reveal. VortiX frustrated by this. And will be more so still. Dock drop from Puppypaw. Slap bang next to it. And the Bagler, well, it doesn't look like it's going to be quick enough. No, so dock is definitely going up. And remember, with Mongols, you're always generating this stone on the Uvu. So have the additional naval arrows that's coming in. Almost perfectly primed for this. Yeah, I'm not really liking the look of this right now for VortiX. I mean, we've got the Desert Raider spamming going, but archer reaction is now coming in. And it's starting to feel like you're going to struggle to gather the food you're looking for. Archer ship's already countering on the east side of the fishing. Bagler's going to be annoying, sure, but this double archer play, Puppypaw is just looking to frustrate him and slow down the eco to get the edge elsewhere. Demo ship's now being prepped on the north side. We already had the one up here. That got cleared. The naval arrow slits, you're just seeing how annoying he's making this. Yeah, it just ends up wasting the demo entirely. VortiX is slowly losing the south side. He needs a resolution quickly. I just don't see what that's meant to be. He's leading more onto land now, so we've got Desirator plus Horseman to counteract the Archer. I'm not sure if you're going to actually have the food source to reliably keep that going in the coming minutes, though. For the time being, food income still looks good, but more and more idle being achieved here. Man, even losing the Archer ship. He's going to have his own demo now coming out, but answers are there, and the connect. Was that intentional from VortiX? That was sick if so. He pulled the fishing boat, which then blocked the demo from connecting towards the Bagler, essentially saving its life. That was sick. What a play. So VortiX keeps the Bagler alive, only to then throw it away. Yeah, he's getting distracted by these land raids. He's got so much focus on that. And the demo. Wait, Puppypaw, you're griefing yourself, sir. You're griefing yourself. Puppypaw. What is going on? I cannot believe that. So the workers, the Keshis, they go down. Puppypaw with the keys to the kingdom, but maybe didn't realize it at the moment, didn't pull further back, waste the demo entirely. And on a scale of 1 to 10, like those watching right now, 1 being this is like first grade math, 10 being only Einstein could solve this. Like, how hard is it for you to track everything that's happening right now? Because this is... The pace with which these two are playing around the map is very discombobulating. It's why you're seeing 2 of the game's finest players struggle to maintain control of the situation. This is chaotic. Extremely chaotic. And we know that Water can do that, but the way that they're doing it is the more incredible part. Land raids again. And this time he finds the archers. He even finds some of the workers. Absolutely wild. So VortiX, sure, he got sacked on Water, but he made his opponent pay for it. The question now is if he's made him pay enough. Oh, no. He's going to take plenty more away from this. He dives past. He's found the worker stack. That's 12 fishing boats. They're all working on one of the deep water fish. They will be able to keep the light junk alive, but more archer ships are coming out. So the target fire should start to clear up the builder force. Or should I say the repair force in this situation. More and more archer ships spam from both sides now. And on land, oh my god, it happened again! He took out the outpost! This is ridiculous. Most of these worker kills are on land now. VortiX is just dominating where it matters. Color me impressed. I mean, we've always known him to be a micromaster, a scary threat on the seas, but it's more the fact that the threat of him on the sea is allowing him to leverage so much control on land. You know, I'm kind of impressed with the way that he was able to navigate around these naval arrow slits threats, right? Like, if you think about it, it's the type of thing that usually just shuts people down easy peasy. Like, in some ways, naval arrow slits is meant to make your life really easy, you the player who's doing it, and your opponent's really annoying because of the way they have to micro away, they have to respect the range, etc. VortiX has just said to hell with that the entire time, and now, once again, the Horseman gets in. Does chase onto the archers. I mean, he gets turn and burn onto the workers, though. There's no textiles still. Horseman just finding more and more value as the game goes on. There's going to be a nice little shift to get the villagers in and out. The VortiX now starting to stockpile the resources necessary for age 3. His fishing may not exist in grand quantities, only 7, but even with 15 fishing boats, you just see how drastic these raids have been on land, how big they've hit. The fact that VortiX actually has got a 5-worker lead, despite the fact that he's hopelessly behind on fishing, right? 7 versus 15. Now the loggy wing. Next step, get those relics home, rejuvenate the boys, and then hop on a yacht and go for a party in the middle of the pond. Getting Rams here would be a no-brainer. For who? For VortiX? He can't do Rams. The problem with Rams here is he just doesn't have the military wing reinforcements, so he can't build them with cavalry. And if he went with archers, he would have been slowed down. Keshix could have also exploited that. As for Puppypaw, a, like, you can build rams, but that's just another unit that gets melted by horsemen. He's just still got him waiting here with the demo ship on the flank. I mean, there might be a golden opportunity for him if he times it right, considering the way that Puppypaw was over-gathering early. If you guys remember, he had, like, what, 15 fishing boats on one deep water? Some might call that a teensy bit of an overkill. Calming moment, really, for the first moment in, I want to say, 10 minutes in this game. Which is absolutely fine by VortiX. The fact that he's aging his opponent isn't. For this to just slow down like this is a huge disadvantage for the Mongols now. I imagine the reaction is going to be an immediate rush drop-off into a mirrored tech coming out from Puppypaw. Step readout would give him a big buffer in terms of his economy by comparison to VortiX's. But it would come at the trade-off of relics. Right, that's the other thing. Remember, we don't often see Logistics Wing in Castle Age. The difference is that you get 3 instead of 2 dervishes. So it gives you a really good timing to rush out onto the map and claim the goodies. And very feasible to do in a game like this where Puppypaw is still forced to keep playing full defender. Finally on the offensive. He's going to find his way in onto the fishing boat. So nice snipe down there. Southside Reclamation is looking good though. So once again, kind of an even trade there. Doesn't mean that Puppypaw maintains his fishing lead. Now he's going to have to deal with the relics. Alright, 1s if you think VortiX is going to win this game. 2s if you think that Puppypaw is going to take it. And right now, VortiX, it's hard to really fault anything he's been doing. Camel Lancer spam is also going to be very good, even in the Spearman. Spearman can't brace Camel Lancers still. Yeah, usually, like, when you're dealing with Camel Lancers, the best thing you can do is just find your way into crossbows quickly. But Puppypaw has an issue with that, guys. There's a small reason why he won't be able to. He still needs to solve the age issue. VortiX will at least turn around and run for the time being, but I think it's just because he wants the easy fight. Right? Want to try to bulk up to like 9, 10 Camel Lancers and then just spam in. More junks. Still pressuring that limited fishing that VortiX has. That's maybe his one crippling weakness, is obviously this slows down the Camel Lancer spam, just not having much in the way of fishing boat access. Looks like he should have enough Camel Lancers to be a threat here. Rotates around the back. The Spearmen are just off to the north side. Looks to the immediate connect, and with the Yam, easily and eagerly able to do so. Okay, so Puppypaw just not giving an opening here. Does find the resources necessary. Step Redoubt is now going to be ready to roll. But he goes Kurtai. Okay. Why Kurtai over Step Redoubt? It's the mass. He's bulking. It makes a lot of sense. You can't really do Kurtai when you don't have an army. And we don't see much Kurtai because most of the time Mongols are rushing the age ahead of everyone else right now. It's kind of weird. But in this particular game, he's been forced to stay in age so long that he has an existing army he could buff quite well. The other thing is he has so much food that you probably don't feel the Step Redoubt is necessary, if that makes sense. Like, sure, you know, more gold always better. But you have such a big eco lead in your brain right now because of all the fishing that you probably feel that it's a bit wasteful not to just get the damage buff instead. Right? It's like double greeting. You don't necessarily need it. Now the tech up complete, crossbows can be added into the equation. And we might look at Anatan versus Beastie. I did glance the outcome of that one. Was quite surprised by it. I think VortiX has a food issue. Yep, out on the berries, out on the deer now. So while it looks good right now, I like that he switches into archers because you just can't really compare long-term with the food income of the Canadian. To make matters worse, your archers aren't going to be able to compare up against the Kurotai buff here. No, and dare I say it one more time, to make matters even worse, look at the gold spawns. This is ridiculous. Sure, if you can camp it, it kills Puppypaw, but if he claims it with outposts, you're never turfing him out of here. Veteran Seafer Spears is about to hit as well. Range damage too also just got queued. More crossbows are on the way. Puppypaw giving a lot of space here. VortiX will happily take it. Not going to be able to hold on to it though. Does recommit into the Keshik, so that thins the front line. Only Spearmen and 1 or 2 men-at-arms left over. VortiX's goal right now is to just push him out of the Kurotai, out of buff range, so you don't have this awkward disadvantage. Easier said than done, though. Especially against this many Camel Lancers, you'd think that he's able to lock the area in. He's going to have to start diving under spring replacements, though, but for the time being, happy to do so. There's just not enough here for Puppypaw to stand his ground. Villagers are rushing to seek shelter. And at this point, all he needs is the Camel Lancers to start hunting for the eco. Good timing for VortiX. He's still got 15 Camel Lancers in total, about 11 of them on the dive here. He actually camps them in the base, so does not send them looking for that valuable tree line to the west. No, he's trying to target fire down the defenses to get the kills that way. And do I even want to look at how much land eco Puppypaw has left? Yeah, he's down to 51 villages in this game. By comparison, VortiX is sitting up at 67. Despite that, Puppypaw is the one with an 11 worker lead. Mangonel's now being brought into the game by Ibids here. Which is awkward because Puppypaw doesn't really have any solution to that right now. He's going men-at-arms plus crossbows. Both of which can struggle at the hands of Mangoes. What does Puppypaw do with this? Because this is also lack of gold. Without gold, you really can't do much here. I mean, the men-at-arms is already looking like a questionable choice into Lancers. He's putting what little gold he has left into getting his hands on crossbows. And we have got a sneak out, which is going to go unnoticed. This is huge. Without this, Puppypaw is pretty much just drained and dead. This is his saving grace, and he needs it. Because VortiX is looking to barrel into Mass Siege, especially with the 5 relics and 2 Sacrosites. Why not? Gonna start marching north. He could think about going after the docks on the north side. Would make a lot of sense for the Mango spam now. For the time being, he focus fires on the base. Gold still not noticed. Armies are recoiling, but I mean, he hasn't found economy yet. And I wonder what VortiX's thought process is in this moment. Like, is he just waiting for the all-in to go after landmarks? It can be a bit tricky due to the mobile nature of them with the Mongols. Should he instead really just be focusing on finding the economy? Right? Because, like, maybe he just believes his opponent is buying the gold right now. But you should be quite suspicious at this stage. When you see 10 crossbows, 10 men-at-arms, that's kind of alarm bell territory, and he finds him. Camel Lancer goes in. So Puppypaw, we got a decent amount of gold there. It's going to have been enough because he can't gather any more. VortiX may have let this one slip through, but not for long. An important find as well for the Spaniard. Gold doesn't just make his world go round, his comp full. It's the thing that could save Puppypaw should he be able to sneak out into another. And we do have last of the fishing taken out. So VortiX is just solely on land. And we mentioned earlier the lack of food. Well, now he really is just sucking it all dry. He's under the deer on the north side. Before long, he's going to have to eat in the center of the map. This does not look good, folks. I think Puppypaw has survived the storm. He's now almost ready to unleash his own. A worrisome position as well now for VortiX. He's committing to the mangoes, which, I mean, normally at this stage I could see being quite reliable. You know, 25, 30 minutes in, you're imagining your opponent has to farm transition, but we're in a water map here. And your opponent has got both sides of the pond. He's got 35 fishing boats. Horseman is something he wants to be able to justify. You are giving him the way. I mean, yes, there's camel lancers, but who cares? Bonus damage goes unaffected, so both the mangoes and the archers are going to hate their life in the next battle. Just wasted time into the middle. And another interesting thing to think about here, folks, is that actually Kurotai completely offsets the effect of camels. Right, 20% debuff, meanwhile you get a 20% buff. Like it never even happened. VortiX now just setting up his own outpost to try and guarantee gold will not be accessed again. One the dervishes keeping an eye on it as well. Remember, for like horseman quantity to be achieved, for that master work, you don't actually need any gold whatsoever. 5 manganiques. A last burst of food he's finding access to in these flank areas. Could be, and it has to be enough. Close to 200 pop now. VortiX will be the first to crack that number. And the Scud launchers are underway. 5 manganiques will force the TC to retreat. Nothing is safe in their realm. Outpost crawl does just continue. VortiX, this is pretty smart. So he's essentially creating choke points against mass horsemen. Means that your camel lancers kind of spread out, hold the bigger wave back. Guarantee the lives of both the siege and the archers. Really, Puppypaw just not with much map left to fall back to. He's on the ropes. Yeah, which means he's going to have to pull the trick soon. Right? He's going to have to spring the trap, but if I'm not mistaken, VortiX, has he actually seen the horsemen? I'm not sure he has. He's about to find them for the first time, though, because Puppypaw rides straight on in with them. Camel Lancer reaction is going to be coming through. Kurotai needs to park itself. The villagers, though. The villagers! Can everyone just get out of the way? This Kurotai is necessary. Oh my god, he's finally going to get it out. But I mean, if the Manganiques just reload and shot fire it down, it's going to be removed. Instead, Puppypaw will be able to get it up and get it repaired. And the clash is now underway. Horsemen just blobbing up for this. The men-at-arms as well. Could actually pull back and just let the MAA through the tankier unit. You want the horsemen still alive to deal with the archers. Meanwhile, Mango is just trying to clear up the crossbowman backline. VortiX maintaining that military lead, now pulling further ahead. Frontline thinning. Only a small handful of crossbows remain, and it has to be the Spanish outcome, surely. VortiX now just smushing the workers as well. They worked their asses off to keep that Kurotai up, but in the end, it was all for naught. VortiX still needs the GG moment. He is sitting now at 0 food income. Fully focused on the commitment into the enemy base. Make no mistake about it, folks. This is still not over. With no food income, that means no additional wave of bio. If Puppypaw can just buy himself another minute or two, get the remax, he'll still have a way. And with that tree line running thin, it is going to be tight. Horseman now diving in. Just the remaining camels able to mostly block the offensive. However, the archers now have to stand their ground. And the horsemen are getting good trades here. Yeah, and not many mangoes left over. Only 3. Puppypaw down to just 17 military. A lot of it is not on land. He's got 14 horsemen in queue. If he can just get them out, folks, 14 horsemen is good enough. Yeah, and you see the urgency. VortiX knows he needs to rush the end point. Go straight for the TC. Villagers now, the torch is out. It's going to buy some time. Order is still only in the purview of Puppypaw. This is ridiculous. But the Sacred Site timer is down to 30 seconds. Oh my god, and he tries to go out for the snipe down. The horsemen riding out. They're not going to be quick enough. VortiX, I was so tunnel vision on this. I didn't see how low the clock got. 33 seconds. And a keep drop like that. There's no doubt left. Puppypaw, he needed at least 2 more minutes to get the cleanup on the mangoes and then a push out for a decap. No hope in hell of that. Castle drop to secure. Pause timer will resume. And GG will be called. Dude, that is sick. That was a sick game. I just realized I've not been recording these. Oh, correction. I have been recording them. I've been recording them on the wrong PC. I've been pressing the wrong button. Because it's instinctual. And Spimman can't brace Oops. I'm definitely going to switch the Stream Deck stuff around. I need to. In my brain, because I just want one Stream Deck. Ugh, I knew it was going to be annoying. Today's going to be a weird day. God damn it. And that's such a good game as well. I have to check the vol quality to see if it's good enough to DL. Yeah, even now, just like alt-tabbing out standard is like causing huge frame drops. Yeah, I'll have a look at that later. Anyway, let's get ready for the next one. We're going to be heading into Excavation next. So VortiX now just 1 game away from trouncing Puppypaw. Yeah, so what I'm talking about basically is when I'm in game, I need to be pressing this button. And I've been pressing this button. Because it's like instinctual. I use this Stream Deck all the time. Anyway, let's hop in. Oof. All right, game number 3 here. VortiX of the Chinese in the red going up against Puppypaw in the blue as House of Lancaster. House of Elves makes a lot of sense on this map. China, not so much. Yeah, the Chinese pick is a bit weird. We're on Excavation. Excavation is a map designed around this concept of stone generation. You've got these forgotten ruins, 4 per player, that allow you to capture them, garrison a villager inside, and get 60 stone a minute. After 6 minutes of which you will then dig up a relic. What that means is this map plays very well into civs that utilize the stone early, such as Lancaster. It also plays very well into civs that are basically the opposite of fast castle relic rush civs. China's a little bit wonky though, right? Like China, they are historically pro scouts into fast castle civ. They usually play very well around these timings into monks, and they don't really tend to look for stone early on in more recent metas. If you go back a few years, yes. Like if you actually go back to like what 2023, most definitely, you would have had the 2TC, 3TC. That would have made sense. But here, I'm not really sure what you'd want that much stone for. I mean, hand cannon slits, unless you want to do some weird outpost rush. China can work the amount of times she's seen Dimmu rush all around the base. I mean, in fairness, that is Dimmu against much lower rank opponents. This is VortiX versus Puppypaw, right? We're talking about 2 top 8 players in this game. I'm not really sure you're going to get away with an outpost rush. Even more so considering the civ you're against. Like, for anyone who's ever tried to outpost rush the English or Lancaster, you know exactly what I'm going to say. You get short bowed in the face. Dude, I'm still tilted by this alt-tab issue. God damn it. And oh my god, what? How? How? I can't believe that. He actually got a worker kill. I mean, it's 2 Spearmen. It shouldn't really be happening. It's quite rare. And he's just forcing the pressure because VortiX, like, he can't the gold. Remember, you need 235 gold in total as China to be safe with this no Imperial official play. Does get the last of what's necessary. But painful to be down 1 worker already 3 minutes into the game against a Civ that scales additional workers very, very well. Yeah, and, well, he's definitely going to be looking for those extra workers, wink, as we do have the Lancaster Castle coming in. Okay. So for Puppypaw, it should just be a standard eco-greed build. He's already got the lock-in on the backside, remember, the villager inside here, generating 60 stone a minute. Means by the time he techs up, he's going to be able to afford double mana. For VortiX, now that he's aged up, you know, we're not going to be seeing pro scouts. I like that. I don't think you should really be pro scouting on this type of map, like, given the state of things. He's not capturing onto the sacred. Sorry, they're going to the Forgotten Ruins either, so we're definitely not getting 2 TC. What is he up to? This map is so weird. It's very, very different. I would classify it as gimmicky. I think it's fine to call it gimmicky. I don't think that gimmicky maps are necessarily a bad thing. I do feel like Excavation is the type of map that will not exist long-term in competitive Age of Empires 4. But, like, that's fine. You don't need every map to be forever, right? It's fine to have maps that just come and go. In fact, that can keep it fresh. It also kind of opens perspectives to new mechanics that people didn't think about before. And usually is how you then inspire people into different, cooler, newer methods of map design. Point of interest, it's the Forgotten Ruins. It's the one that you garrison inside. By the way, fun little factor. House of Lancaster is best for this type of map because you can also, if there's a fight over the Forgotten Ruins, use your villager to defend. Funnily enough. And VortiX, well, of course is going to look to attack. We got archers. Makes sense. Your opponent did open spears. He is now going for this defensive orientation. For VortiX, the goal here is going to be rapid timing into rams to break this position. The difficulty is Puppypaw has intentionally placed the manors further back, which means you're going to have to dive past the Lancaster Castle. And you can't kill the Lancaster. Like, trying to kill the Lancaster Castle is horribly pointless. It's a 5k HP structure. I mean, thank God this thing doesn't have garrison slots. Then it would just really take the whole cake. Yeah, could you imagine if this thing had garrison slots so you could actually repair it? You'd never be able to break this ever. I wonder, is Puppypaw going to go the full greed? I find on Excavation you usually get encouraged to, and especially with double Forgotten Ruins garrisoned. Yeah, I think we're just going to see him scaling up into more manors. It does give an opening, so, you know, VortiX, he could punt this one home and make it a 3-0 sweep. It's just key that he actually gets into the necessary tech. Siege engineering was the priority. Doesn't quite have the wood just yet. Does see the enemy scout, we'll be able to scare him away, but at this stage, Puppypaw knows exactly what is cooking. And, well, we'll look to pivot, because this is going to be a fast castle up. Yeah, you could tell if he was going condensed land practices by the wood income. It's just not quite high enough yet. Yet his food is just soaring. So we're going to get FC, which is a good answer here, right? Like, it's a small quantity of archers. Elsgard can easily just tank the arrow shots while dealing with the ram. And no, there is in total 8 potential relics on this map. You get 4 spawning per player via the Forgotten Ruins. Once again, To get any of them, you're going to need to dig them up, which takes quite a lot of time. Okay, I'm truly at a loss now. I just alt-tabbed out this time, and, like, there's no hoo-ha. So weird. Yeah, like, it's actually just smooth as now. What? Might be map dependent. Oh, I don't know. It's being very weird. No, yeah, but Gorge had it too, right? And Gorge didn't have water. Yeah, I'll have to figure this out later. So Ram's on the way in. It's Demi-Lancer time! Oh, this is exactly why Ram rushes always seem to fail. One outpost as well is kind of vicious. It's just guaranteed the archers couldn't fight back. By the way, that's also why VortiX prioritized Steel Arrow over Undermay. And still, it just didn't matter. Civ remains, I think, one of the most frustrating ones to encounter. I'm trying to think if there is an, on average, more annoying Civ to have to fight than Lancaster in Age of Empires 4. And honestly, I'm coming up dry. White Tower's now going to be on the way up. Okay, there you go. That time when I alt-tabbed out, it lagged out a bit. Yeah, it's like, I don't get it. It's so random what triggers it. Demi-Lance is now just also containing the threat. VortiX is about to be an entire age behind. He's trying to play catch-up here. He can actually, like, just spam into Lancers as a decent answer to Ulsgaard, but you're going to need a little bit of time. Keep in mind, this is, like, very different to your standard orientation of map. It's not like the slow momentum of, like, you know, White Tower Rush means I don't have many Ulsgaard coming. All this extra stone is going to enable plenty of mana spam. The immediate auto upgrade for the Demi-Lancer just makes them a bit more tanky. Able to waste even more time. Also forces VortiX to commit into additional archers. He did go Pro Scouts in the end, by the way. But this is a late Pro Scouts. Right, this is the first deer stack he's taking. I think. Or did he take the enemy side? No, he didn't. It's over here in the deer. On the White Tower. Love that as well from Puppypaw. Just extending the life of this play. And he is mudding in Lancers alongside the Ulsgaard. These Demi-Lancers just been such a nuisance. Will eventually get cleared up. Last one standing to be brought down. But he dies just in time for the Ulsgaard to arrive. It was going to be a death to taxes moment, but he realized actually that the dagger throws weren't going to be good enough to get a kill. Hasn't got the undermesh just yet. It's a few seconds away. But the bigger concern I have for VortiX is where's the age up? You know, you still haven't began it yet, right? Those extra archers he laid in slowed him down here. He's got too much gold, not enough food. And Knights just arrived alongside the Ulsgaard. That's going to be a forced idle on the tree line. And that also affects the deer. Oh dear, oh dear. Astronomical Clock Tower now behind this, but the scout sees it. And he just doesn't have the clear power. No, this can actually just kill him. This clock tower doesn't work. It's so far out. I mean, how do you rally more villagers here? You don't. You just call GG. He throws in the tower super quick in game number 3. But finally, the Canadian is able to make VortiX bleed. Well played, sir. So that means we finally have signs of life coming out from Canada. Puppypaw now point on the board. Let's see where the boys want to take us next. Next up, we've got Dry River. Dry River is a pretty fun map, actually. And it is going to be HRE versus Japanese. What part of the tournament is this? Quarterfinals. And oh my god, I need to get used to not doing that. I don't know how to do this. I'm going to have to rethink the camera location. I can already tell. All right, let's get to it. Is it this one? It's happening, folks. Signs of life. Welcome back to the channel for quarter-final showdown. We've got VortiX versus Puppypaw in a best of 5. VortiX was looking like he was on the verge of making it a 3-0, but Canada can finally start to raise that flag a little and hope. We hop into game 4, Dry River, a map where fishing is highly desired. And well, Puppypaw is picked a Civ that's pretty good for that. Japan coming out in the yellow. But VortiX, the always present and always relevant HRE pick. And he's going to be the one fishing. Now it feels interesting, right? Like a Dark Age fishing opening you'd expect out of Japan. I'd say it's less anticipated out of HRE, a Civ that could probably benefit a lot more from just either rushing Age or playing counterplay. Puppypaw, I mean, he's resisting all temptation entirely, which I like for him. He already scouted it. Yeah, he saw the dot going up and said, okay, I'm definitely not playing into this. I just want to get an Age ahead. I wonder if, like, maybe Coca Township could be on the menu for the first time in a long time. We haven't really seen people do it anymore. You guys are talking about the select Civ for certain players. Louis Ottomans, Beasties, probably Malian or HRE. For Marine Lord, it's French. Yeah, there was actually a time for Louis where it was a Jean, funnily enough. For VortiX, over the years, like Mongols and Rus have probably been the most staple picks. Puppypaw is also like China, for sure. Puppypaw is renowned for his Chinese picks. One of the most lethal players, especially in the Frisian Marshes era of competitive Age of Empires 4 history. Japan is one that he was making his home in 2024, but honestly, I'd say actually in 2025, the most threatening players on Japanese have been Louis MT and B. Maybe the Canadians are able to surprise us again. I mean, it would be a surprise to see a Coca for sure. Because I have not seen any Coca Township play in competitive AoE 4 for almost the entire year at this point. And boom, there we go. Coca Township beginning. Just makes sense. Gives him a way of blocking out any defensive ships to protect the docks. Is a little bit tricky against HRE because they usually have good enough economy to just inflate into archers, which is the ultimate counter. And also, like, the difference with archer play to counter Shinobi here versus other places is the HRE archers are quick enough to chase you down. Whereas in other matchups, if you realize what's happening quick enough, you can always kite. Puppy's specialty was barbecue rush. Oh, dude, like, you know, he was an outpost rusher, a prolific outpost rusher when the game first came out. I still remember casting Puppypaw back in the good old days. And what? Like, once again with the alt tab. What's going on? That's very weird. Sorry about that, folks. But yeah, back in the old days, I remember just casting Puppypaw back when he'd only play Mongols and Chinese. And his game length average was maybe 8 minutes. He even had that very cool game. I think it was one of the earliest ones uploaded on my channel. I think we called it Agent Sheep. He basically just like stuck a sheep in the enemy's tree line so that his outpost could shoot into the tree line and kill everyone. Oh. I think Puppypaw might have been drinking the Kool-Aid here. Mine work is very powerful. Bit situational. It's very ambitious into Shinobi. Like, a lot of the good things about mine work, you just can't leverage. You can't all spikes. It's just pointless. You can still go for the range text, but now you're in a situation where you're not really yourself. You're not your Archon boy with mass archers potential. Yeah, and Puppypaw also just has such a good timing here. It's already double Shinobi in the field, and he pulls the double Villager for the outpost. Okay, so sabotage there to guarantee no reaction. Scout can't protect this at all. He can't take out those workers. And funnily enough, like, I don't even think he necessarily needed the outpost. He probably had enough burn damage between the Shinobi spam plus the Scout. But maybe the plan now is going to be for Puppypaw to go for pawns himself. Would make a lot of sense for a civ like Japan. It does get those discounted fishing boats. Shinobi, nice body block. Oh, that was sick. VortiX. Oh, that's sick. So twice he re-rallies the Shinobi to protect the villager. But now it may be biting off more than you can chew there. Yeah, it still ends up losing that one worker. That was really well played, but then VortiX, I think he didn't want to lose the scout. He was desperate to keep it alive. Because remember, at this stage with this type of build, if you lose the scout, you're going to be -1 villager to rebuild it. Might as well just risk it, because you're already now -1 villager off of that. What an interesting game this is becoming. So, Puppypaw with, I think the first Coca Township we might have actually seen in this tournament so far. Looking pretty good, and we do now see him setting up those docks we talked about earlier. Meanwhile, VortiX is going to try to begin from scratch on a different pond here. He has started producing Spearmen, which will be counterplayed by the Shinobi, but this is in anticipation of Puppypaw adding in Horsemen, which was the old build. But we've got something new here. Yeah, Puppypaw. I mean, it's not even going to be Yumi, which I thought maybe would be a bit tempting. He goes for the Samurai. Is Japan nerfed that bad with the Dishov? With the Dishov death, you're actually going to see more Coca again because like you don't necessarily do the racks opening. I think Japan is still okay because of the Yumi buffs they received around the same time as the Dishov meta took over. But they're not as dominant as they were for sure. Like I'd say before the Dishov nerf, Japan probably felt like a top 6 Civ? Top 7? Nah, top 7 Civ probably. Now I'd put them somewhere more around like 9? 8, 9? So they've fallen a little bit. Possibly 10, actually. VortiX having to spread out everywhere, but not able to stop that dot going up in time. We'll look to just double on what his opponent has here, though. So 2 pawns to be secured by VortiX. And Puppypaw, he does go for the Yumi after all. I believe that did, yep, just get scouted. So VortiX knows what he's up against here. This is starting to lean into a favorable position for HRE because now you can kind of steer around towards Spearman plus Horseman, which with Mind Work gets a humongous damage buff in the early ages. Keep in mind, by the way, if this does trend towards Castle Age, VortiX is not completely disadvantaged. You're playing a Civ that now has access to the extra armor on Night Spam, which allows you to somewhat match up against Japan. Like, technically, they will still win the fights, but let's say you just A-click and ignore the fight. The deflective armor debuff, or rather damage mitigation, gets mostly mirrored by the extra +2 armor because of how long night fights tend to be. The reason why it's still going to be Japanese favored is quite often you're going to maybe strike 2, 3, 4 times and then move away, which will buy enough time for deflective to come through again. And we have a ram play. Oh, now that is interesting. Yeah, so VortiX, he scoured the forward outpost. He's like, okay, this is just an FC build. I'm going to send it now because I've got fishing. I'm HRE with good economy. I can just break you before you age up. And it definitely makes sense when you look at Puppypaw's secondary gold option. It's also on the forward. But looking at the economy of Puppypaw, this doesn't just feel like it's a simple fast castle build. The more Samurai he adds in, the more I get a bit worried for VortiX's current composition. Samurai usually suck when you have to engage in the mid-map, but as a defensive tool here, perfect. Ram will begin the approach. Samurai can also just stand here and take it out, though. Yeah, I mean, there's no undermesh, so, like, it would hurt a little bit. But with the outpost fire, with the arrow slits, like, the archers can't stand there. It's a great read, Puppypaw. In a pretty cozy position. He's going to continue to invest, and this isn't a bad thing, right? Like, Yumi Mass Samurai in Feudal actually converts really well into starting castle. Because starter castle, you're not going to have many armored options, so Yumi aren't counted there, right? They can actually do damage. And then Samurai are just an organic thing to upgrade. Yeah, I mean, the upgrade comes in quickly, even if you don't have the Yorishiro drop into Iraqs. Not to mention the extra text, like Odachi allows you to compete with things like HRE heavy maces. Interesting game. So what's the cutoff point? I imagine 25 to 30 Yumi is where Puppypaw feels he's probably as safe as can be. It's a bit tricky. Your opponent is now getting triple dock though. But like, I think if you start to tech up around 30 Yumi, it means the docks haven't really paid off yet. So VortiX won't just have this ridiculously inflated economy. And by the way, like the eco just isn't really registering. There's a big issue if you look in his base. It's not just the worker kills that have been occurring. It's the fact that VortiX never added in additional prelates. So he's not buffing his economy at all. He's not really playing the HRE. No, he's... Instead, he's just playing this like a civ that gets a blacksmith's for a feudal upgrade. Right? As in, oh wow, I've saved 150 wood. I'm going to attack him even quicker. Archer blobbing will continue on both sides, but reminder about that big difference maker of the Yorishiro drop. It allows those Yumi to get upgraded a lot quicker than the HRE archers, and that's important because if you think about it, like Yumi are cheaper, worse versions of HRE archers. They move at the same movement speed, they just do less damage, have less health. And also means that when you get caught out like this, there's no easy runaway for the HRE archers. Nicely played by Puppypaw to cut him there. Yeah, tell me you're going Castle Age without saying it. That's focus. So VortiX is aware of what's happening. Very difficult to dive with this type of army comp, though. The horseman count is not that high, and archers have no ranged armor to speak of. Yumi are also now starting to circle towards your side of the map, which is something you have to be worried about. It's Ram. It's not really achieving anything. To make matters worse, you don't have many troopers in reserve. I think that's the horseman coming home now. No horseman yet. Luckily for VortiX, Puppypaw is going to stop off A-clicking onto a building. But idle time's being achieved, and now he's able to dive in onto the fishing boats. And, wait, VortiX? VortiX. Okay. He didn't realize. Yeah, he didn't use Garrison. He clicked to drop off the food. Painful. I mean, the fishing boats definitely had paid for themselves by now, but not much past. Doc's now starting to get denied out. Yumi count good enough that he doesn't feel phased by the galleys, just starts to snipe them down. The fishing boat has to come out. That's going to die. So complete waste of investment here. He kills 2 Yumi and loses a galley. Mathematically a terrible trade. Regnit's tech up is now at least on the way, but Puppypaw's really not that far behind. And you know, folks, the thing about this Regnit's play that makes it so good is the prelates that you already have to then go and pick up relics. He doesn't have those prelates. No, he's got a single prelate that hasn't even moved out of the base. This is looking pretty bad right now. Now that ships are nerfed multiple times, how much ships do you get for 5 shoreline fish? I'd say like 4. 4 is pretty good still. Now tech up reaction coming through as well from Puppypaw. With an army which is pretty damn threatening. 25 Yumi. Veterancy will not take long if he Yorishiro drops the archery range. And considering the positioning, it's a little bit of a run, but it just definitely seems like the dead ringer. It could just be a simple mass samurai spam, but if you know your opponent's got mine work, that's a little bit risky to go foot samurai into mass knight's barded armor. Which we are actually seeing. Yeah, so still barding is on the way. And VortiX, of course, now just having to play out on the base. Lack of food. Another dog to also be taken out. I don't know, man. It feels like VortiX went for this aggressive timing. Wasn't able to hit it. Was reluctant to invest more in it. And is now just completely behind because of it. Has got his veterancy on the way for his own archers. Samurai about to get their upgrade, at which point they might actually consider turning for a fight with a Yumi on the way. Good read. VortiX does see what's coming, backs away before he nibbles off more than he can chew. Relics are already on the way home, so VortiX has got one coming in. But a lot of these are kind of central bound, and Puppypaw does still have the army that should be more threatening on that win condition. I think one fishing ship for each shoreline fish is too much. I think you have to weigh in the fact that it's not a forever resource. So you could actually go up to like 5 if you've got a burst timing. Most people, you just want the extended life to extend for longer. We'll whiff there. An Onimusha switch. A smart read into the steel barding. Nice not really producing quickly, but with the Euroshiro having been dropped into an archery range, it means that Onimusha only take 11 seconds each to produce. Bit of a chill pill moment as well. I mean, it benefits Puppypaw to wait here right now, right? Like, Onimusha to counter any heavily armored units, and then he's got the knights coming in as well. He's got the best knights in the game. But for VortiX, I mean, he's just leaned the wrong way. More archers is not going to resolve the problem here, and he's about to discover it. Mad Samurai plus Onimusha, one of each shows up. Luckily, the Samurai are going to slow everything down, so we'll give him time to retreat, but maybe not time to do the damage necessary. Work Alliance about to get dove here, folks. I mean, if you just lock in the gold, what can VortiX really do? Chase continues. Completely ignores the knight with the archers and just dives to the squishy target. Well, Samurai will just mop up the few knights coming out, and VortiX... I mean, you've got no food either, right? Like, the berries are about to run out. You've got no fishing to speak of anymore. And Puppypaw, in elegant fashion, is able to unravel the plans here and force a deciding game number 5. Okay, now we're cooking. Yeah, this just got very, very interesting. So G5 between the two. What is causing that alt tab issue? It's driving me mad. Give me a sec, guys. So apparently there's a new beta driver that I should I'll check out after stream. Still applying background FPS limit? Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, but like I can't see an option for that that's forcing that. It's very, very weird. Anyway, give me a sec. I basically just cut my hand. So I'm quickly gonna go and fix that. I'll be back in 1 second. Whoopsie, wrong scene. And then we'll hop into the deciding game. So, be right back. 1 sec. everything not just break today, please? Holy crap. Dude, for some reason, like, my taps are not... There's not much water coming out. So I've got something wrong with my water pressure. Frame rate's being weird for us on our setup. Pretty much like everything that can break is breaking. It's getting very weird. Pokemon Gold? Hell yeah, Pokemon Gold. I've got Sapphire back there as well as Leaf Green. Whoop, whoop. Alright, let's get ready for the next series of the day, though. Oh, sorry, next game of the day. VortiX versus Puppypaw, game number 5. Dude, like, part of me is tempted to have a short day just so I can actually try and fix the issues behind the scenes. But that really tilts me because we haven't been live very long. We'll see, though. So we are going to figure this one out on Frisian Marshes. Oh, it's going to be the good old one. It's going to be Ottomans versus Byzantines. And my game just crashed. Have I got multiple Frisian Marshes? I might. For God's sake. It's always such a pain in the ass. Also, I just realized we're missing something. No, that... Dude, the keep mouse cursor in game thing just dragged me across in a really funny way there. That was quite kick W. Anyway, there we go. Boink. Okay, let me double check my mods quickly to see if I've got 2 Frisian Marshes. And I'll delete the old one. Yeah, like, I don't know, man. Is there anything that isn't, like, going wrong today? So, like, tech issues on the primary PC. For some reason, I, like, keep smelling chemicals in my nose. My water pressure is now, like, less than half of what it should be. It's, how's your days going? Probably not as bad as mine. So let's quickly see if we can figure out... So I think we had an old Frisian here. Is going to be the problem. So we're looking for ones that don't have a green tick. Oh yeah, like that should be a problem. EGC Dry River, let's get rid of that. Legacy Frisian, let's get rid of that. I don't remember. What was Guns and Zombies? Alright, well, let's just get rid of that. Apparently I had 2 of them. Let's get rid of that. And that should fix it. Because I think the map was called EGC Frisian Marshes, which is where the heart attack was being had from all. Frisian played Crystal? I don't think I ever played Crystal. Yeah, I'm like always a big fan of the first 3 generations. I think that was peak. Right, let's get ready to go though. Please don't crack. It just crashed again. Is the replay corrupt? Like, I've gotten rid of the bad versions. So we should be able to just do it now. The heal? Unless they've selected the wrong Frisian. This old-ass one. Which I doubt. No, this is the one we use now. Let's unsubscribe, subscribe, just to be safe. And then give me 1 second. I mean, I hope we can watch this because it would be a really freaking sucky way to have to end the series going, we can't watch this. All right, it worked. We're good. We're good. All right. Welcome back to the channel for what's fast becoming one of my favorite matchups in Season 11 in Age of Empires 4. And what a way to view it as well. In the quarterfinals of a major tournament in a deciding game number 5, we'll be treated to VortiX's Ottomans going up against Puppypaw on the Byzantines. Oh yes, map is going to be Phrygian Marshes, the new version to decide this. And really cool matchup, actually. Historically, within the confines of Age of Empires 4, this is a matchup that has defied real-life history. Byzantines coming out on top. But in the last few weeks, I had started to see a bit of a pivot where Ottomans were finding a bit more success as time went on. Let's see if that's going to hold true. On a map like this, you know how it has to begin. Byzantines have a pretty big weakness, in theory, on Phrygian Marshes. They hate outpost rushes in general, and you're playing on a map where outpost rushes can be completely disarming and crippling. Phrygian Marshes, for those that haven't seen it before, sticks you in a corner. That's right, it's that baby in the corner. It locks you right in tight. And the interesting thing about this is that means if 1 or 2 outposts go up, you lose access to gold, you lose access to extended food sources. The only thing you can reliably get is wood. Would you believe it? It is going to be not just the spear, but indeed the outpost commitment. You could try to circle around and go for the placement back here. It's very difficult to achieve, though. Right, like this is going to be seen as an overextension because you want to get it here, which would be put it close enough for like Akrotoi pull. But we'll see. Stone gathering as well this early from Puppypaw. Interesting choice considering you're up against the Ottomans. So wasn't completely convinced he was going to be up against an outpost rush. VortiX. Well, he's like the cat just plucking away on your legs. He's like, oh, I haven't really decided if I want to sit on you yet. But this does look like a comfortable position to set up shop. There it is. And these, oh man, outpost rushes, you know, they've kind of become less desirable, less popular in 2025. You know, anyone who played Age of Empires 4 back at release and enjoyed the outpost rushes probably feels a little bit out of place these days because you don't really get the GGs out of people like you used to. This is one of the exceptions. I cannot think of a single matchup where an outpost rush is more effective. Oh my god, I just realized I was recording on the wrong device. Alrighty. So let's see how this is gonna play out. I wonder if it's gonna show on the quality. We literally just switched recording onto the other device. I gotta get used to pushing the right button. But man, apparently he's pushed the aggro button on the Byzantines. We're seeing the move out, and Akrotoi has been activated, which means the Spearman cannot protect. Good reaction by Puppypaw. And VortiX ultimately denied his serious greed here. I mean, it was an ambitious outpost. He can try for it again. Puppypaw doesn't have Akrotoi now. And in fairness, VortiX did pull away fairly fast before he took significant damage on Spearman. But how come he's still one at death's door? Number 2 system now being committed to. Puppypaw obviously can't leave workers out on the stone now that more and more spears are arriving. Interesting beginning to this game. And it's whoa, okay, what? Hold the votes. It's rigged. What am I seeing here? We are getting Hippodrome gameplay against the ultimate middle finger to cavalry civ in Age of Empires 4 of all things as well. How intriguing. Okay. So Puppypaw cooking here. I mean, it makes sense in some ways, right? Like with this type of spawning format, you're probably not touching the berries ever. You're going to have to address the concern. That's going to take at least 5 minutes. That offsets a lot of the tempo value of Grand Winery. And you can talk about, like, down the line, Grand Winery eventually with loads of farms around it, but that is so far down the line. He's trying to play more urgently, and I kind of respect that. You know, considering the opponent you're up against, VortiX not really a player known for playing the long con, the long game. Only really choosing to take a slower approach when it benefits him immensely, as we've seen in early games in this series. Well, even burns down the mining camp, which is nice. I mean, yes, you know, Puppypaw can come and rebuild it, but there's multiple elements to this. Puppypaw coming to rebuild it, that's still going to be 50 wood spent, but it also is going to tell you when he needs gold most. VortiX is going to be Minaret Madrissa. Doesn't get too out of line here. Sultani Trade Network is just... Should I just call it what it is? It kind of feels like a dead landmark. There was a time where Sultani Trade Network was being experimented with a lot, and people just realized it wasn't worth what you were giving up. Food is so much more critical in the early game. You have plenty of gold access. The only exception would be a game where, say, you can't access your gold at all. That's when Sultani Trade Network would rarely look good. Even then, it's such a small gold trickle that anything that is gold-oriented strategically that requires burst gathering won't be possible, right? So pro scouts, for example, fast castle builds, these things would just be off the menu. Stone gathering also coming in for the military schools, presumably. Puppypaw immediately jumping into the horseman, and I'm wondering, will we be jumping into pro scout? Nah, there's no way. I've been watching too many Fae games. Unless... No. I don't think... Pro Scouts, especially on Frisian Marshes, would be a little bit odd. You could argue it's very hard to reach fishing and other things, so like you're going to need some backup plan. I love the berry placement as well. Like, it being forward is good here because he's aggroing. So it means he's got reinforcements just running past this, what would normally feel like a very exposed berry. And the ton upgrade is going to be coming in. So, Mass Spear plus Horseman. VortiX hasn't committed to a second unit yet. He is going to be going for Sipahi, and honestly, I dig it. Like, you know, Hippodrome gives an edge temporarily to Byzantines, but long-term in a fight, Ottoman's going to look really good with the Sipahi that are just better horsemen, plus the play into metas, which is going to give the 2 melee armor. And remember, like, when you're talking about these 2 cavalry components, Puppypaw is going to be exposed hitting into spears in ranger spears, while VortiX can set up his formation so that his Sipahi don't get touched. Wait, what just... Did he just run all the way around the base, kill a horseman? Alright, VortiX is vibing, loving life right now. I can't believe that just happened. Yeah, especially with those health bars, you'd think they'd just stay in the outpost forever, but Arislitz is in place now. He's posturing with the boys. Second wave of spears is coming through. First of the Sipahi have now been queued up, but the spearmen... Caught not looking, because they can't. They're riding blind through the stealth forest. Nice strike there, gets rid of 2. Archer production now underway from VortiX. Reminder, for Puppypaw, he does have access to that very helpful ability on the Hippodrome, the Triumph that gives bonus damage, healing, etc. But it's a one and doneer. If you use it, don't expect to have it again for the next few minutes. Not in a meaningful, extensive way in a fight anyway. It's just the nature of Hippodrome, really. Okay, so what is win condition for these 2? We've got Western Contract coming through, which is 100% the correct call from Byzantines. You've already added in Horsemen, but also just like Western Contract scales really well into the later phase of the game. It keeps Ottomans off of Janissaries almost entirely. Sipahi is still going to be a very big problem, but not one you don't have answers to, especially with this Triumph build. For VortiX, I think his like win condition has a really good timing in Castle, actually. On the initial like transition point. Especially the way this should play out with the meta aura plus blobbing, I'd imagine that Puppypaw is put in a position where he doesn't really want to fight. Even more so because he went Lombos. But hold on a second. Wait, was that... Did he get... He got 2 worker kills so far. I thought Puppypaw maybe got something in return. He's thinking about it, though. He just went Exploratorus. That is the tech that allows you to do more damage to workers. also gives you a pretty impressive 30 gold per kill on worker units. Yeah, little tip, guys. If you're ever playing in a game against a trading civ, 100,000% get Expillatores as Byzantines. You're just going to reap it. Even against Knights Templar, it's actually pretty good as well. First longbow pump now coming through. The system levels haven't... Okay, yeah, he's up to almost 4. 4, almost 5 rather now. So not too bad. I thought he still only had 3. So good that he's been finding that breeding room. And now it's going to be a reacquisition onto the berries. Which feels pretty good, right? Like he was able to get the more risky berries, didn't really lose anything. Now he gets to fall back for safety at a point where VortiX is becoming more threatening with the mass starting to build. That mass is already starting to march forward. We'll just get deterred by the tower. Yeah, just not worth it. I mean, VortiX could actually just get away with cheeky dives soon. He's about to get another Vizier point. It used to be on the previous patch, Imam would just feel so good. The field works where you get the AoE healing. But we've seen some big changes now where TC is going to be cheaper. You can get a Kinji. You know, all of a sudden, there's actually real options on that second point to consider. So I'm wondering which one VortiX is going to lean towards here. And a Kinji would feel very awkward into Mass Horseman. There's 2 TC possible at all. Or his field work's just too damn good. There's your answer. Field works it is. He cannot resist. He is pop blocked right now. Oops. The monk boys are about to be released. There they are. So remember, this now gives him AoE healing in Feudal Age, which is ludicrous to say out loud. I never have a moment where I say that out loud and I go, oh, what? So able to rejuvenate all the boys. And Puppypaw, he's going to continue to bulk into the horsemen. And the tricky thing here now is, like, you know, if you're relying too heavily on melee, it's actually very hard to break Ottomans and Feudal. Reminder that they have got an ability to get 2 melee armor. That's going to offset half the value of the Triumph burst damage. That's going to turn your spearmen into plastic stick wielders. They're going to lose 25% of their damage. Horseman. Fishing. How is it VortiX keeps finding more worker kills, by the way? This is kind of ludicrous. I look away for a moment and the worker count goes up again. The crazy part is the guy with almost 20 cavalry units with bonus against workers have not found a single worker kill yet. I mean, you just kind of have to commit in, right? Like, you don't want to use Triumph, but if you... What? I can't believe what I'm watching here. I can't believe this is working so well. I'm kind of speechless at this. VortiX has just added in another 2 worker kills. Like, I'm just staring at this horseman mass from Puppypaw, waiting for the moment where it can do something. And it hasn't been able to achieve a single damn thing in this game. It's not even deterring VortiX from playing mass archers. He's now approaching 30. Every time he walks over, he just gets scared by a few spearmen. And this is the reluctance factor, right? It's like being El Presidente with the big red button. Sounds cool in theory, but do you really want to be the psychopath that presses it? I mean, Triumph can be that tool that can win a war, but it's the blowout afterwards that you're always worried about. This time, though, we have got horsemen in. Finally, first blood is drawn. Puppypaw able to start poking at this, but good shuffling by VortiX to minimize the losses. 2. Maybe a 3rd? No, he only gets 2 for all of that effort. Once again, gets scared away. Really well defended there by VortiX, minimizing losses without textiles, and now the body blockers on the retreat just to try and maximize the kills on exit. In a game where Triumph still not being used. Losses all becoming expensive. Now, Puppypaw does have a big eco lead courtesy of the Systems, which have now been buffed up to level 5. It's now going to be moving out for the fishing as well. It's just so annoying as well because like if you don't actually kill any of these Sipahi, you know they're going to get healed up. That's the other always frustrating thing is like your healing's locked behind what feels like a one-off and done type ability. For VortiX, it's eternal. As long as the imams are near the army, they'll always be healing. Horseman? Did he leave an imam at home? He did! Okay, that's pretty sick. Yeah, because the imam can just basically be protected by the workers, and the workers can protect themselves against 1 or 2 lone horsemen. Now on the other side, we are going to be seeing the dive. Archers out to contest the fishing. Horseman. I mean, this is triumph, right? This has to be. This is the best opportunity you're going to get all game. And there we go. He activates the ability. Attack speed is going to be used in response. No melee defense at all. He doesn't care. Meta's still not being sniped out. Even the Lombos, they're actually getting dragged onto different targets. They need to get rid of this aura. He's ignoring it. What? Puppypaw not like this. VortiX, I can't believe this. Against Lombos, somehow the meta was able to exist through most of that fight. And now the dive shall commence. Longbows just not able to retreat away from archers. They're slower, remember. The counter is good enough to snipe this down 1 by 1. An invaluable unit that Puppypaw simply cannot afford to lose. Villagers activate the Akratoy. He's still just target firing down the Longbows, though. And Spearman will protect all. Meta still alive. Never actually truly finished off. Just scared away for the moment. Comes back into the fray. Puppypaw will finally be able to push VortiX out. But more and more worker damage being done. Military lead still being maintained by VortiX. Puppypaw is stuck with only horsemen at this stage. Can't really afford anything else. The Imam snipe would be big. He will find it. The crazy thing to me, though, is like the maths here doesn't add up. No, if you look at the count, folks, something went wrong here. VortiX should be much further ahead. He's been skipping villager production. He's got a 3 worker lead, but he has an extra 7 kills over his opponent. And there is no tech stars, I believe. Yeah. So a little bit awkward. All that effort, and I mean, this is the classic thing, right? Like, you become so fixated, so focused on the micro of your units, you skip on the most basic and important things in Age of Empires 4. And reminder, we are watching a quarterfinals in an S tier tournament here. This isn't someone in the opening round who doesn't know how to play AoE 4. This is one of Age of Empires' finest. And a fine moment maybe for Puppypaw to extend an advantage here. Or rather, shall I say, put himself in an advantage. Horseman. Great reaction out of VortiX. Barely any downtime there before between when he saw the threat and when he reacts to it. Horsemen are still going to commit in, but littered amongst the spears, this becomes very difficult. Very expensive. Very much not worth it there. I mean, he did at least force the army home. But while this was all happening, VortiX netted another 2 worker kills. It's actually crazy how he keeps doing this. But like Sipahi, this is the difference, right? Like, yeah, you know, you get paid to kill the workers and you do more damage against them. But Sipahi with Fortitude are wild. Look at them! Look how they just melt them! I can't believe he got shivs out against this. I mean, sure, they take more damage, but the attack speed makes up for it. Villagers are not a match for that. And VortiX now finds himself 11 workers up in this deciding game. This is looking grim. Oh, man. I dread to think what Puppypaw's next move is meant to be here. I mean, he's got mass horsemen, but VortiX just already has so many spearmen to answer. He's only ever relied on a small group of Sipahi for raiding. Triumph is at maximum tickets again, so he has got the 40 charge. But with the metas, I mean, this is the other interesting thing. We mentioned he could have used the melee armor, but he chose damage burst over defense. And now he's going to choose age up over all in. VortiX, the refined player. Worrisome position now for Puppypaw. He continues to pound into the ponies, but There's multiple warriors on the horizon now, guys. Like, Puppypaw wasn't able to inflate the longbow count well, right? It got shuttered on the second stack. He started getting sniped. You remember that fight near the fishing? Well, that means that VortiX can actually now play into Janissaries quite eagerly. Against Mass Horsemen, actually the dream. Puppypaw about to get the bad news. Probably feels like he's going to need to do something about it. He can't really just fall back from here and tech up. So it looks for the worker kills. VortiX! That was almost so much worse. 2 worker kills is actually like a good outcome for VortiX. The delayed reaction, I mean, if that full surround happens, the speed at which these horsemen can kill, especially considering there's still no textiles for VortiX. I think that's the craziest thing, is he knows this is Expilatores, but didn't opt for the extra health. No, you have to keep in mind that, sure, like, if you're caught, you're caught sort of thing, but like the delay, even if it saves like 1 worker's life, it makes textiles worth it. Even more so because of the currency conversion here, right? It's like a kill isn't just a 1 worker removed, it's then your opponent also getting paid for it. So this idea of like, oh, I only paid 25 wood for that mill. Yeah, but the Mongol player burned it down and got 50. So you don't know what the other Ottoman landmark is? It is the Imperial Palace. I mean, it's... get a name of it. I think it's something Imperial Palace. It allows Istanbul Imperial Palace. It allows you to get extra Vizier points, and you also get the Vizier points quicker. It's like in theory, with the changes they made with the Vizier point system, it might be viable now, but we're still seeing a lot of Memo and Imperial Armory. Now the Golden Horn Tower play. The dangers continue as Puppypaw plays further out of the map. Does not get seen building the outpost. Important, because that would have been a strike down of 10. Horsemen are rallying back towards the base to defend. There's a few spearmen littered in here. It's not really a fight you're looking for, because veterancy has already been completed for the Ottomans on both fronts. Now the castle up. What can Puppypaw achieve here? He's looking for that veteran horseman. The issue I see is like he has no good way of clearing 34 spearmen though. And another important thing about Triumph, like Triumph is very weird in that good in Feudal Age, great in Imperial Age when you're like maxed out because you just keep activating it non-stop. Kind of can suck in Castle because of the effect it has on certain units like Horsemen starting to shrink in terms of like percentile increases. Villages. Wait, does he not? Oh my god, he doesn't have willpower. Still. So these workers are dead. No doubt about that. Archers should be able to cut them off. And it looks like Puppypaw says to hell with it. He full-on Rohirrim rides! Understandable in this type of position. I mean, you're just losing time and time again when you try to engage with this army. Wait, is he going for the landmarks? He had trapezites, but he didn't... Wait, he didn't bring a scout. So no bonus torch damage. It's all in. It's entirely in. No way. The mass on this does it check out. Villagers are coming across now. Triumph does get activated. So there you go. The increased burst. And the healing as well. Workers rush over to try and deal with the mango. But VortiX's army was completely out of position. Now the horsemen, they ride around the back. They cut down the repair crew. He's denying him. TC still at half HP. VortiX. He's going to need to buy some time here. Repair crew goes at it again. He's got plenty of wood to work with. The case he might not have, though, is health. TC now on fire. Spearmen have a ride. VortiX. The magic fingers have done enough. TC up. Horsemen need to run. The villagers are all completely out of position. Like, wait, how did we get here? Someone says something about free drinks at the local restaurant, and all of a sudden I find myself waking up in Turkey. And we feel like a turkey being hunted at Christmas here. Oh my god, villagers come out for the body blocks. Shiv's out to try and slow it down just a little bit. Puppypaw, there's no doubt about it. This man is dead. What an absurd final game for quarterfinals in a $30,000 tournament. I gotta give props to Puppypaw. He definitely tried to do it with some gusto, with some style there. A cool idea as well with the horseman having the extra damage. But simply not enough. They... Okay, come on. Like, really? Really, Puppypaw? But, yes, the return towards fishing is taking a while. Oh, wheelbarrow. I really look forward to Puppypaw's analysis of this series where he gets to this game and goes, man, I really would have won this game too if I just had wheelbarrow. Would it give me the rush time onto the TC, extra torch damage, extra kills? Of course, of course. Oh, bless him. I mean, in fairness, to speak of extra torch damage, the thing that actually kind of cost him there, he didn't have a scout, guys. If you look, he got a tech called Trapezites. Now, Trapezites is very interesting. It's 25% more burn damage. He had, like, what, 30 entities there? So that'd be equivocal to adding in an extra 8, at least, to burn. And that was the difference maker. It would have at least got the TC. Whether it could have gotten the 2 extra landmarks is ambitious, but it would have made it close. Instead, there's nothing close about this. Yeah, VortiX is about to educate on how you burn down landmarks. So you start with the aqueducts. And then go for the big one. Like how VortiX is just kind of like playing this very calculated until the bitter end. GG comes in. Canadian fall short of semifinals, and VortiX flexing that he's back on form. He's booked himself a date in the semifinals. G to the G, boys. What a cool game. What a cool series. That was pretty wild. What would I call that one? Trying to think what the obvious thing is on that one. I mean, it's about the horseman, right? Maybe mass horseman into the anti-cav civ, something like that. Okay, so question is, what's up next? I wonder. Could we maybe catch some live games? Louis playing against someone. Let me check if it's like a good rank opponent. I'm still a little bit annoyed about these FPS drops. Part of me wants to go and deal with that. That would mean we would... How long would we be online? Like 3 hours, which feels really short. So Louis playing up against her like rank 98 for count. Eh. Do you guys want an Abbasid Lancaster game? I mean, that kind of sounds good. Let me update titling. I feel like I should really solve this problem. Dude, I've been live 3 hours, though. It's gonna jar me so much. Alright, we'll have a longer stream tomorrow. I'd feel bad that I'm, like, ending the stream with only like 3 hours live. But the reason, guys, is like because this alt tabbing issue, I need to solve it because like it's gonna hiccup some other things. I might also try to shift the entire like Stream Deck setup onto the right device. Otherwise, that's gonna annoy the crap out of me. So yeah, admittedly a short stream, but tomorrow we'll go live around the same time. And I've already got like a bunch of games I think that we could look at. We'll have some live ones for sure. We'll have also ones like Louis MT versus Sort of. There's some Louis Kiliadi games, Dimu versus Kiliadi, Numidan versus Sass as well. So plenty of games we can cast, but I'm gonna call it for now. Sorry guys, I know it's a short one, but like I need to solve these problems because they're gonna like jar me off. I need to shift the Stream Deck setup. I need to discover why the hell there's these frame rate issues because there shouldn't be. But we'll be back tomorrow. Sorry about it being a short stream, guys. Thank you for watching, and make sure you tune in tomorrow when the fun continues. We should be trying to sort a show match, a Hims Cup show match for Friday. I need to figure out the players for that as well. Like, there's just so much to do. But thank you, guys, and I will see you all tomorrow. Toodaloo.